brought the dawn of my fears. Get out of how it happens in the light, and shine and shadow a dome built of night. Strike my blade in rhythm with the storm, entwined by fate, summon the ashen storm. If freedom must be wrought by the waves, let this crown melt to dust and be carried away. So let the gale become one with me. Follow me, the dawn will rise as I kneel before their deity. I will fight to turn the tide and rage again. The year unfolds all around me. I'll go and open up the skies. As the gale goes, I bellow, fervent battle cry. I'll find a way out, right through the eye of the storm, fixed on the stars trapped above. Their lies vain as the prayers I bear with love. When the shadows of the past find their grave, and the echoes of our souls sink neath the waves, I will stand resolute on the edge with you, against the dying of the year falls around me. I'll go and open up the skies. As the gale goes, I bellow, it burns up to the light. I'll find a way out of the storm. We'll go straight
Alrighty, how is everybody doing today? How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're all doing well, because we've got a bit of a breakdown that we got to get into, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a bit of a breakdown of drip marketing. You can probably tell who it's for on the screen, because yeah, she's right there. We got Chisa, ladies and gentlemen. Who would have thought? Yeah, who would have thought that we'd have Chisa ready to go in Wuthering Waves? Well, many are imagining, right? Version 2.8. I think it's pretty clear it's going to be 2.8. We've got a couple of supporting materials as well. Namely this one over here. This is a pretty nice post, actually. It kind of shows all the drip marketing that we had across versions from the start of version 2.3. You know, the end of the anniversary, right? And then we got all of... I think this was actually maybe in 2.2. I'm not actually super sure when this first set was. But, yeah. That's the lineup for the rest of 2.0. Or what you imagine is the rest of the 2.0. And then they'll get into 3.0 afterwards. So, yeah. We've got a couple of things pulled up. But we're definitely going to be starting off with the Chisa drip marketing, and then, you know, we'll see where we go from there. So, yeah, might be a bit of a shorter stream today. I know we started later too. That's because I'm just gonna be honest over here. My jaw and like my neck like hurt from talking so much yesterday. Yeah, I think I actually like pulled something in my neck. At some point, just like talking so much. So I'm like, I think I figured out what it was, but we will be, yeah, I'm taking a bit more precaution today. Yeah, I'm taking a bit more precaution today. Old age? Well, I mean, that's the thing, guys. I don't know if you're not actually supposed to talk for multiple hours on end. That's actually not healthy. To talk for multiple hours on end, because you use muscles when you talk. Use your snowman. That wouldn't actually solve the problem, actually. That wouldn't actually solve the problem. He's not gonna last long. Guys, you're talking. So I hope you guys recognize that we started regularly streaming in, I think, November of last year, and we have never taken more than 1 day off. I hope you understand that. So when it comes to like overall longevity and like not taking breaks and stuff, I'm basically like the LeBron James of streaming. I hope you understand that. I'm basically like the LeBron James of streaming. I have not like taken more than 1 day off. It's been literally one. What are you guys over here spamming ego for? What do you even mean? What do you even mean? It's not even ego, it's a literal fact. It's a literal fact. What are you guys even talking about? Suddenly it's ego to say a literal fact about my streaming track record. Calling yourself LeBron is crazy self-glaze. Clearly, I'm talking about the fact that LeBron James, like, basically never took days off during his career. Yes, he, like, barely ever got, like, injured and was barely ever at a point where he was, like, taking, multiple weeks, multiple whatevers off from being injured. Yo, Ethan, appreciate the raid, brother, man. Yeah, appreciate the raid. So, yeah, that's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. What's your vertical leap? It's Ethan, don't ask me about my vertical leap. Just know it's higher than yours. Okay? It's higher than yours. No, it ain't on God. I think chat would take bets on that one. I genuinely think chat would take bets on that one. And they'd probably win a lot of money. They'd probably win a lot of money. Chat, I'll record it. I was gonna say something fucked up, but I decided not to. Should I just say it, Ethan? Should I just say it? Do it? Okay, he gave me permission, chat. Ethan, if somebody recorded us doing vertical jumps, that's basically like, it would be as big of an incident as like somebody recording 9/11. Like that's it would be like a documentary of like the rapture and how it began. 9/11 is me and Shinya jumping. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, sorry. You're only the first tower.
Lion graft you knew. Now watch closely.
You're only the first tower.
The moon is full. Fight by my side.
All right, we got that going. Okay, so I don't even know why I popped open my game. Oh, it's because it has stuff for reference for the drip marketing. Sorry, I got stun locked by Ethan for a second over there. It's just, well, you know how it is. You know how it is. All right. Alrighty. How tall are you, Unk? Everyone is always growing. Okay, so you can't just use definitive numbers to define people. For example, some people, they grow backwards. Yeah, when they reach a certain age and they start growing backwards. You ever thought about that? You ever seen an 80-year-old man? Y'all ever seen an 80-year-old man? Yeah, 80-year-old men are shorter than what they were when they were 25. Yeah. So, what's the point of talking about a number that's always shifting? Right? Imagine. Imagine if height was like a woo-wah kit in beta. Always shifting, right? Always moving the numbers around. You can't really get a definitive check on it. Not growing backwards, it's their cells dying. What does that even mean? All right. That's enough entertaining lame parasocial questions from chat. Yeah, chat, how tall are you guys? Yeah, this is the thing. You don't have to answer me because I don't care. Anyways, we got Chisa drip marketing. We got Chisa drip. I love how there were people that actually typed their answers in. I love how there were people that actually typed their answers in right after I said I don't give a shit. Oh, okay, all right. It was like you guys like heard the question and then tuned out everything I said afterwards. Yeah, you heard the question and then you tuned out everything I said like immediately right after it. All right. All right. Let's get right on into. Oh, wow. I'm sure there's a lot of people looking forward to this one. Just kidding. Nobody is. All right. All right. Let's get this started. Let's get this one started. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, it is safe to say that Kuro Games has dropped on us a bomb. And that bomb is none other than the drip marketing for Chisa. Because boy, oh boy, I think the most highly anticipated, probably the most highly hyped up unit of 2.0, 2.x, well, they're finally arriving. And I think they're going to be arriving in version 2.8. And they're also arriving with some of the craziest background art, some of the craziest potential story spoilers or story hints that we've ever seen in a splash art before. Because one thing is clear from what we're seeing over here just at a baseline that I wanted to talk about, right? This splash art is a pretty big far cry from, well, the other splash arts that we've had before. For the other 2.x drip marketed units. Y'all remember these guys, right? From back in the day, from like version 2.3 or 2.4. I think it was 2.4. And then, of course, the splash arts that came out of it, right? You got Hell, you got Huang Long, you got the Moon, you got the Sun in Septimont, you got Frolova doing whatever she wants, and then Chisa in the background of one of the most industrial cities, industrial-looking places in Wuthering Waves, skyscrapers, all of that we've ever seen. So let's go ahead, let's talk about it, let's break it all down and see what this is all about. Alrighty, so we got the post-lament Anthropocene stars intertwined. I think I said that right. Give me some congratulations for that one. And the quote is, "I will sever this deadlock." And so if you all aren't super sure what like a deadlock is, some people might be a little bit confused. It's a bit of a rare word, right? A deadlock is kind of something that like, you know, you can probably guess, it like locks something off. So I imagine, right, just like taking a look at what's over here, she kind of almost looks like she's in some sort of like alternative reality, right? She looks like she's almost like in like a simulation. You can see like the cracks forming, buildings are flying, there's a Ferris wheel, there's an industrialized skyscraper, construction area, all of that. And I think that might be part of what she's actually doing in 2.8, where she might be trapped in like some sort of like artificial world. And, you know, naturally, that's where the story is going to go. I don't think that this looking kind of like a weird reality, I think that's there for an intended reason. So let's go ahead and get a little bit more of like a background of her character from the archive. Chisa is a conscientious, level-headed student from the Star Torch Academy. Whatever that means. To her, everything can be broken down, analyzed, and resolved, with the exception of human bonding. I don't know if that means that like the vibe that I'm getting from her is that she might be a little bit neurodivergent. That's kind of like somebody that kind of views things like this analytically. Maybe the right word might be like I don't know. She seems like slightly like a little bit, she's got like a different way of thinking about things and communicating with people. And bonds can be severed, but this fragility is what makes them precious. So I'm just going to be honest over here. This has told us not that much about her character other than the fact that, she seems like she's a bit of a scientist, that she's a bit of an analytical person. Let's go ahead and take a look at, well, everything that we're actually going to be seeing over here. So we clearly got the schoolgirl aesthetic, the black hair, the red motifs. This is probably, I think, one of the most popular archetypes that you can have in anime, just like in this sort of art style. This is something that we've seen repeated so many times, right? With different flares, different twists. You've got like the whole you've got the protagonist of like certain sort of like shonen or whatever the female version of shonen is, those types of series, and of course, right, all of like the slice of life, that sort of stuff. But naturally, I think she's gonna lean into a little bit more of the aggressive type of character with this type of styling, based off the fact that she has a gigantic fucking pair of scissors. I'm just gonna be honest with you. This might be one of the most menacing weapons we've ever seen. I'm already seeing in chat over here, right? People are talking about like, oh, we got people from like Akame ga Kill. We got people from like all those Kill la Kill. I like this is the thing. I haven't like watched like half of these. I haven't watched half of these, so I can only take your guys' word for it. There's a reason why this character is so popular. There's a reason why her drip marketing has an incredible number of reactions. There's a reason why when this entire set of characters was teased back in the day, she was one of the ones that people were looking forward to the most. That's because she essentially is a character that we've seen before, but not necessarily to the point where she's like copied, right? And everyone likes seeing this type of character again. They even had one like her in PGR. So naturally, I think that this is meant to be like the big bombshell that we have coming in the end of the version. And I do think that Kuro is, of course, going to do a lot of justice over here when it comes to making this character probably strong as hell. Because let's just be entirely real. I don't think that Kuro is a company or a game that Wuthering Waves is a game that we've seen where like the top tier, most well-received character designs end up being misses when it comes to their implementation in-game. Pretty much every single character that's been highly teased to this or like highly popularized to this high of a degree ends up having a pretty wild and powerful kit in-game. So, yeah, we've already done a video on that. She's probably going to be the Havoc Bane enabler. And we've already, we've taken a look at things like the Remenith, Threnodian Echo. Spoilers over here if you haven't done it yet, but it's necessary for the discussion. This is the new weekly boss Echo, right? And you can see over here, we've got things like Havoc Bane support. So, take that as you will. She might be one of the more essential components of a new archetype moving forward, if you're excited for that or not. We'll just have to see. Now, let's get into the more exciting parts. We talked as much about her kit as I think we probably could have. Havoc Bane, debuff, that sort of stuff. Now let's talk a little bit about the story significance of this unit, because I think that this is where a lot of the meat of the discussion is actually going to be. We all know that there's going to be a Cyberpunk Edge Runners collab arriving in the early parts of 2026. I think that was the date that was sort of finalized alongside the anniversary. And one thing we know about Cyberpunk is that it has a very specific sort of aesthetic. You need to be in a city. You need to have skyscrapers. You need to have like that sort of like dark, gritty atmosphere, the alleyways, the gangs, all of that. And let's just be honest. That's not really a vibe that you get from Septimon. That's not really a vibe. This is actually going to be great that we have this, right? This isn't really a vibe that you're going to get from Raguna. That's not really a vibe you're going to get from the Black Shores. And that's, of course, that's not a vibe that you're going to get from Huanglong. Well, the closest that we got was the port city of Guizhou, and we all know how that one turned out. So, naturally, this presents itself as one of the most diverse and one of the most interesting expansions that we've had in the history of the game. Because for a lot of individuals, right, this is going to give those NTE vibes. And for those that have been keeping up with Gacha or previously Gacha games in the space, this really gives me a Nanta vibes. Because, well, let's just be real here. I think that's the game that's coming to most of people's minds when they think about sort of like a built-up city. And so we've got the whole city aesthetic, and we've also got Cyberpunk. It's pretty clear, right? She's supposed to be our sort of like introductory character to this sort of dynamic. However, we still got to keep in mind that we might not actually be there yet. Because this line over here, I mentioned it at the start, I will sever this deadlock, and the whole like shattered, crystallized, looks like she's in an alternative reality. I think that this is where we're going to get the first preview, right? We get a bit of an introductory look at the new region in 2.8, but it's not like the real version of it. And then eventually, right, after we resolve the situation with Chisa and all of that, then we can go ahead and actually see the real thing. That's what I think is going to happen. Naturally, I don't think there are even any spoilers at all regarding anything going on in the story. So, yeah, I think that's what's going to occur. And this is the other factor that we have to talk about. And I think this is the one that's going to throw a lot of people off, especially if you're somebody that's done a little bit of research. There's this concept of Lahai Roi, and this is going to be another 2.7 spoiler just in case. Lahai Roi, which is essentially the area that was heavily teased at the end of the 2.x arc. And the idea over here is that this was meant to be like, a hint to the next major location. But the more research you actually do on Lahai Roi, it gets a little bit confusing. Because, well, that's a location in the Middle East. And, well, the location that they're talking about in the Middle East in particular, I can safely say it doesn't look like this. It looks a lot different than that. But this seems to me like it's just going to be a lot more of a symbolic feeling. Because it actually turns out, if you remember the quest, right? If you remember the quest, it actually turns out that Galbraina and her little jukebox that you were listening to, right? That little jukebox that you were listening to, that actually came from Lahai Roi. And so one of the lines that's kind of significant about that is that this jukebox is long since discontinued due to the vast march in their technology's improvement. And so this might actually be Lahai Roi. Or it might just be the name that they use to refer to it within the Fraxidus for more of like that symbolic point of view. Because apparently the technology has greatly advanced to the point where things like these cassette players and stuff like that aren't necessarily in fashion anymore. They're heading more into like the sci-fi part of like technology. And, well, it does seem kind of like one-to-one, especially when you consider what all of the other cities in the game, or really the residential areas in the game, not really cities, actually look like. And so this is the thing, right? Lahai Roi, in my opinion, might just be like a name for what many are thinking of as the new Federation. And let's just look over here, right? If it wouldn't be surprising to me at all if Calcharo, who is from the new Federation, came from a place like this, because he is a bit more of like the more modern looking, very like high tech looking resonators, especially when you compare, a design like this with like, let's just look at a design like this, right? Where she just literally looks like a Roman gladiator. She's, a belly dancer. And then you got good old Cucacharones over here looking like, bro is like straight up like a sci-fi. Like, bro looks like a Warframe character, bro. You cover his face, he looks like a goddamn Warframe character. And that's just kind of like the difference in technology that's going on. And it would make sense, especially when you consider this line, there's been a vast march in their technology's improvement. I think you guys can kind of see what's going on over here, right? I feel like this name And clearly, right, that reference to the Bible, to the Hebrew language over here, I feel like it's being done as a way to kind of like throw some people off. Or I'm entirely wrong. This is actually just a mirage. It's an illusion. And the story's actually genuinely taking place, like, in a desert. Which would be kind of funny. You know, the story takes place in a desert, and this is like the mirage of like a city established area that they have going on. That could also be something that happens too. But the thing is, I think that Kuro Games has basically done some of the best work they've had when it comes to hyping up the new region, when it comes to hyping up the next expansion, and of course, all of the lore, all of the background that's supposed to be coming in. Because, let's just be honest, 2.7 ended with a bit of a pretty goddamn big bang. And what follows afterwards, right, is an incredible opportunity. And I think that the discussions that we're going to have, I think that, like, the sort of, like, theories for what's going on, like, clearly, there's, like, a goddamn, like, this reminds you of, like, a Tethys black hole. Like, this reminds you of the thing that, like, swallowed up Shorekeeper, and you can see it's, like, bringing in, you know, parts of the city. Maybe this is a recreation of a previous lament. Right? Maybe this is a recreation of a previous lament. And it's like acting in real time, the destruction of this city. And this whole thing is an entire goddamn bait. And that this place doesn't actually exist anymore. Much like how we relived through the lament and the disaster that hit. Let's just look at that area again. That hit the port city of Guizhou, right? When we revisited that place back in version 1.3. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of theories that you can make, but one thing that's clear is that we have absolutely no conclusions at all. Are we in a simulation? Are we in an oasis in a desert? Are we just in a new city? Are we in Ananta? Who knows? But I think that the fact that we don't have a definitive answer, I think the fact that we've had so many kind of like conflicting thoughts from the story reveals is going to drive some of the greatest discussion that this game has ever had. And I'm just going to be honest. I can't wait to find out more about this character, find out more about like her background, all of that, just to see how all the puzzle pieces are fitting together. Now, let's talk about the last final bits. And this is, of course, going to be talking about her design. I think that one thing is super clear about the way that she's kind of presented over here. She looks like she has a tall-ass model. I'm just going to be honest with you. One thing that we saw played around a lot with in, in this Raguna arc was that there was kind of a lot of, like, midgets introduced to the roster, right? We had, like, 1, 2, 3 of these very, very, like, shorter modeled, like, shorter like characters. And one thing that's clear is that, like, if you just like look at the actual like proportions and stuff, let me go see if I can find her feet. If you like look at the actual proportions and stuff, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like her legs are like over like half the size of her body. So I would imagine that they're going for a bit more of like this sort of look, this sort of model when it comes to the character. And so naturally, right, we're just getting ahead of, like, those discussions over here because every single time there's a character that, you know, has, like, a bit of, like, that schoolgirl aesthetic going on, you're always going to have that discussion. I always don't ever even try to talk about it. I just want to mention that it's going to happen. You're always going to have a bunch of people making discussions about age. And I'm just going to be real over here, guys. And this is going to shock some people. Star Torch Academy might be a college. Yeah. Y'all think about that? Yeah, Star Torch Academy, it could be a college. Yeah, you don't actually know. And the thing is, I don't think it necessarily matters that much, right? Because as far as I'm concerned, bro, like, look at her face and everything. She look older than some of the units on the roster. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be real with you. She looks older than Phoebe. Let's be honest about that one, right? She got I'm gonna just be real. Like, I cover like the stuff below on the screen. I'm not gonna lie, she could like look like one of those like. Let me just do it for you guys. Like, if you just like do that, She looks like she could be like one of those like shrine, like those Japanese like shrine maidens, that sort of stuff, like going on, like with like what the top half is like looking like. Straight up, like that's the vibe that I'm getting from here. That is the vibe that I'm getting from here. She looks like one of those like, yeah, one of those like priestesses, one of those like shrine maidens. And yeah, it's the Hime cut. Oh, that's 1,000,000% what it is. It's the haircut. But yeah, the discussion over here, I think it's generally a pointless one until you find out what the hell the Star Torch Academy even is. So that's what I mean by that, is it's too early to even have these discussions. All you have is the character's outfit, and absolutely, without a doubt, no clue at all to anything else that's going on. And let's also be real here, right? She's also got one of the craziest weapons I've ever seen. And so I'm pretty sure that, you know, the one thing's for clear, right? Kids aren't allowed to run around with scissors, at least from where I'm from. So I assume that she's got some degree of responsibility when the pair of scissors look this fucking big. Yeah. Yeah. Now, the last thing that we'll talk about over here is in regards to like her weapon and her typing. I got no fucking clue, man. Okay? It's like she's got a gigantic pair of scissors. She might be a rectifier. She might be a sword. She might be a broadblade. She might be gauntlets, right? Because Zani has a gigantic fucking sword and she's somehow a gauntlet user. Yuno has a bow and she's a gauntlet user. I wouldn't be surprised if Chisa has a giant pair of scissors and she's also a gauntlet user because she needs a special pair of gloves to wield this thing, right? The thing about Wuthering Waves is that it is literally impossible to guess what the weapon type of a character is unless they're like literally like holding the modeled sword, or they're like holding a pistol, right? Or they're like holding a gigantic, you know, like broadblade or stuff like that. But if it's a weapon that clearly isn't defined by one of the 5 types in the game, brother man, you can have no actual take about it. There's no actual take to make. So yeah. We'll find out more probably when she's got her full details later, and we'll make sure to do a bit of a breakdown, right? A bit of a chat to talk about all of her potential, especially when we consider what some of the existing, let's just check it out one more time, especially when we consider what some of the existing echo effects in the game with their passive bonuses to Havoc and Liberation damage are looking like. So yeah. That will be that for this coverage, ladies and gentlemen. Bit of a lore reveal over here, a bit of a character design spiel over here, a bit of a bit of an advisory warning over here for people to avoid pointless discussions. One thing is clear though, this is incredibly well received. This is incredibly hyped, and I think this character is probably going to break some records. And the last thing that I'll look at is, I actually forgot to take a look at this. We got 16 seconds over here. Yeah, that didn't really tell me anything, to be honest. It's very an anime-inspired opening, though. But, yeah. Usually you can tell the type of attribute the character is going to be. I think it's pretty obvious she's Havoc. So, yeah. That'll be that for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully our coverage today satisfied you. Let me know what you all thought. Peace. Who's your guess on the second phase? Nobody. We've covered everybody. I don't think there's anybody in the second phase. I think it's gonna be like 2.5 and be a solo unit. Cause like we're all out. We're all out. Like we don't have any 5-star characters left. So it's like, yeah, I don't think we can. I don't think there's anything we can do over here. Yeah, I don't think there's anything we can do. Who do you think's in second phase? Guys. To all of you people saying a rerun, that is That's the only answer. Like, what else could they do other than a fucking rerun? What, just not have a banner during the second like, what do you mean? Like, maybe it's a rerun. What else could it be? Are they just gonna run only one character the entire patch? What do you guys mean? Maybe it's a rerun. All right, let me go get that uploaded. Oh my gosh. Guys, see, it ain't like we're in like version 1.1, okay? It ain't like we're in like version like 1. Like 1.2. Like you've had a whole year and a half to figure out the schedule of this game. And like reruns started in version 1.4. It's been almost a whole year since we've like had reruns regularly. Like let's stop. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. What are we doing here? Okay, nice. All right. All right. All right. Let's sacrifice Yinlin's rerun. How about we just delete Yinlin from the game? How about that? Does that work for anybody? I'm down for that one. I'm down for that solution. How about we just delete Yinlin from the game? How about we just delete Yinlin from the game and then make a proper buffer? Give me 160 polls though. Delete Gian first. Why would we need to delete Gian? He's one of the highest performing teams in the game. What team is Yinlin not dog shit on? What team is Yinlin the best in slot option? You want to know what the correct answer is? None of them. There is no team where she's the best in slot option. There's literally no team where she's the best in slot option. Not a single one. Not even one. Him and Arrow Rover do nearly the same damage. Hey, Bait used to be at least slightly believable. Yeah, Bait used to be at least slightly believable, but when you start comparing Arrow Rover's damage to any other unit in the game, that's where it all kind of starts falling apart. Yeah, I hope that's where you realize things are really going to start falling apart over there when you start talking about Arrow Rover's damage. Because, well, let's just be honest, guys. They don't deal any. Yes, go and check the I Win to Lose tier list that you usually do and see that it's 2%. Okay. The only thing that's 2% over here is the fucking operating percentage power of your brain right now. Like, you're literally using 2% of it. Could you at least go to 5? Like, please. Like, it... Otherwise, conversation's not going to be sustainable. Do it instead. Why don't you provide a link instead? How about you stop asking me to try to decipher what kind of fucking nonsense you're saying and you just post a fucking link? I'm like over here basically doing the job of like an interpreter, a special education teacher, and a translator at the same time. Like, you're asking me for way too much, man. Can you just provide a link instead of making this like so confusing? Because nobody knows what the fuck you're even trying to say in the first place. I do realize this guy followed today. Did you make a new account to rage bait for fun? Okay, so oh wait, let me go get the actual reality of the situation over here. I don't have proof. That's why you have to search it up yourself from what I said. That's all I'm going to assume the next time somebody asks me to look something up for them. Because how is it that I have to find what you're talking about? Why can't you just show me what you're talking about? These kids are so fucking dumb and lazy. It's unbelievable, bro. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm proving your statement wrong. Also, you have to find the proof for my argument. You're wrong, and you have to find the proof for my argument. Guys, that's really not how anything works nowadays. It's just if you're too lazy to even get the proof of your argument, I'm going to assume it doesn't exist. And that's really the way that everyone should go about it. If someone's not going to provide proof for their own argument, just assume it doesn't exist. Otherwise, they would have it. That's all it is. Only nowadays? Well, this is the thing. Before the era of, like, everything being available on the internet, I could see a point of view for not necessarily having proof. But when everything is online, you can literally look things up instantly, and you still don't have proof. I'm just going to imagine it doesn't exist. And that's really just, that's kind of like a fact of, like, that's kind of like a fact of the present. Yeah, back in the days when all you had was the fucking library, sure, right? Then you'd have to, like, go get a book, go, like, cite a paragraph or something. But in the internet, we can just look something up and paste a link. Brother, Jesus Christ. Okay, provide a link, guys. Let's see over here. Okay, so you just dropped the video. Oh, okay. So the proof is in the 20-minute video. Oh, go to 1407. This is a Camellia team, you fucking dipshit. Weren't you talking about Gian? Why the fuck is there a Camellia team on the screen? You're so stupid, it's unbelievable. The list, I'm literally at the timestamp that you asked me. Like, are you fucking, like, you, look, just look at the bottom of my screen. How about you give me the right timestamp? How about you do your job properly instead of trying to blame me for your mistake? Like, what's going on over here? We're just entertaining a first-time chatter. We're just entertaining somebody that decided to follow today. Yeah, I mean, what are we supposed to be looking at over here? What are we supposed to be looking at over here? He has a full list? Oh. So you wanted me to take a look at this. Why didn't you just paste this link, you fucking dipshit? Why didn't you just paste the fucking link with the actual table that you may or may not be talking about? It's like right here in the fucking video. Instead, you sent me a timestamp of a fucking Camellia team. This is what I mean by send proof, because you were too dumb to be able to locate where this is. And so, literally, you don't even have any, and you're asking me to go find it for you. Okay. All right. So, what point were you trying to make again? Oh, okay. So let me just go see over here. So the point is, him and Arrow Rover do nearly the same damage. So this is a team. This is a team DPS calculation. So what this calculation shows is the team's DPS, which is a full 3-person team. And so you're comparing the individual DPS of 2 characters using a team-wide number. So let's just clarify this. You can't get the actual individual damage that they're doing because it's the team. There's main DPS contribution. Exactly. And Rover is never the main DPS on a team. So how would you even know what their contribution fucking is? Because it doesn't tell you slot 2 slot 2 contribution. It doesn't tell you slot 3 contribution. So in every single situation, Rover Arrow is not the person in slot 1, and this is only slot 1. It shows that Gian is getting wheelchaired. I'm comparing the same team with Gian and Rover as the 3rd slot. The point is swapping... There's not a single team on here with Gian in the 3rd slot, you fucking retard. Like, you can literally look in slot 3 and Gian doesn't show up a single time. Are you fucking stupid? Where is the Gian in slot 3 that you're talking about? Do you see Gian in here a single time? What? I guess this is the thing. Guys, I don't know what's going on anymore. I don't even know what's trying to be communicated anymore. All I know is this guy is a fucking idiot. Open your eyes? I was gonna read your chat. Now I'm not going to anymore. Yeah, that's a little bit racist. Sorry, man. Oh, actually, I'm not sorry about that. Yeah, that's pretty racist. A little unfortunate. But yeah, you don't typically tell a Asian streamer in caps, open your eyes. That's pretty racist if we're gonna be real over here. Whoops. Whoops. Uh-oh. Would be a shame if somebody reported that guy to TOS. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Would be a shame if somebody reported that guy to TOS. Yuno Chacona, 3rd slot, Gian Rover. What? Are you... You're talking about so you're talking about the Gian team that does more damage. What do you even... If you were comparing these two teams, this team does more damage. And you were out here saying that it does less the entire time. And it doesn't take a genius to recognize... It doesn't take a genius at all to recognize that this is with Yuno as the main DPS. I said it's 2% for swapping a damn free unit. I don't think this guy seems to fundamentally understand. I don't think he's... So him being wheelchaired is not wrong. Oh, so is Yuno not getting wheelchaired by Chakota? Not getting wheelchaired by Arrow Rover over here? What are you even saying right now? Guys, hey, we get to see what the inner machinations are of a fucking idiot today. Yeah, we get to see the inner machinations of an absolute dipshit today. Yeah, I don't think he understands how... I think he's literally looking at these two numbers, right? I think he looked at these two numbers. He thinks Gian and Arrow Rover play the exact same role on teams. When one's a main DPS and the other is a healer. Support. And then is saying, because the teams are 2k DPS difference apart, when there's completely different things being done over here, it means he barely does jack shit to where replacing him with Rover is not noticeable. Hey, guys. They don't play the same role on teams. So you can't even talk about them being replaced because they play different roles on the team. You're out here saying, and let's just repeat your statements again, just so that the entire class can once again see how dumb you are. You said Gian and Arrow Rover do the same damage. You said they deal the same damage. But then you're using team DPS numbers. If you aren't able to recognize what's actually wrong over here, then unfortunately, I don't think you ever will. And this is also the other thing. You're only on this account because you got banned on YouTube. Probably because you were being this fucking dumb on there as well. And let's just be honest, it doesn't really matter at all to me, right, that you got banned on YouTube, because we're just going to ban you here as well. Because you're typing some of the most nonsensical, like, you're the type of dipshit that Maggie's charts were made for, where you actually have no critical thinking ability, you cannot understand what's actually going on in-game, and so you just need a set of numbers to tell you how to think, because you don't have the critical thinking ability to think for yourself. And so you just look at a bunch of numbers, you don't know how they are actually calculated, and you look at them, and then you just draw conclusions off of this. And this is the thing, right? It's all right to be a fucking idiot. But one thing that idiots generally need to realize if they want to make it anywhere in life, they can't pretend to be smart at the same time. And what you're doing here is you're clearly really, really dumb, and you clearly don't have a lot of intelligence, right? And now you're going ahead and you're trying to get a one-up. You're trying to look intelligent. You're trying to be smart. But it doesn't work out because nothing you're saying makes any fucking sense. Nothing you're saying makes any sense at all. And it's kind of crazy. It's kind of nuts. Hey, guys. Let's just use this guy's argument over here. All I know is replacing Gion with Arrow Rover gets you the same performance. Guys, if you replace Yuno with Cartithia, you get 16k more DPS. Yuno's a trash character. Yuno's an underpowered unit. If you replace Yuno with Cartithia, you get 16k more DPS. Yuno's clearly underpowered. She's tier 5. Slurs? What slurs? What slurs? Do you know what a slur is? I don't think you know what a slur is. Oh, bro thinks the word retard is a slur? Well, I mean, that's kind of self-explanatory, isn't it? It's because he's... That's why he thinks like that, because he's... Like, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy over here. You just showed you have no clue what you're saying, comparing Cartithia to Yuno, when I was comparing Rover to... Wait. So suddenly, replacing one character and then looking at the DPS calculation is okay, but when I do it for Cartithia and Yuno, it's not okay? Wait, so that's what you're saying, is that it's okay when you did it, but it's not okay when I did it. So it's okay when you do it, but it's not okay when I do it. Guys, this is why let this just be kind of like an exercise for why it's never actually beneficial to argue with somebody that's dumb. Unless you're obviously, right, just trying to farm them like I am. Because no matter what you say, no matter what examples you provide, they'll find some way in their mind to make it so that you're wrong. They'll find some sort of justification because they're too stupid to actually make real arguments for why what you're saying is incorrect. But what they're saying is entirely okay. Because at this point, I'm just going to be real over here. The mental gymnastics that are being performed, and we're reaching world record gold medal territory. We're in gold medal territory. And second and third place are very far behind. They are very far behind. So yeah, I mean, let's just be real here, guys. I don't think anyone ever wins against this guy. I don't think anyone ever wins against this guy when it comes to an argument. But I don't think anyone actually talks to this guy in the first place. So there's probably, I mean, let's just be real here, right? Let's talk about the intermachinations that are going on. He decided to hop onto a stream, right? And start a discussion about the meta of characters. And he's just been doing this unpaid for over 15 minutes. There's not a lot going on, both in the head and in this guy's life. I'm just here to entertain him because this is probably the first human conversation, or as close to human as it's going to get, that this guy's had in years. So, I mean, let's just be entirely honest. It is what it is. It is what it is. Bro, just stop. You're about to crash out again over Gian making barely 2% diff over a free unit. Relax, Unk. Don't get too worked up. It's not good for your health. I'm literally just sitting here chilling, farming you for literally free. Like, I do hope you realize that you probably actually generated me like close to $30, $40, $50 in ad revenue. Just not doing anything. Like, you are the content for today. Like, you're literally just free content. Like, just look at my chat. They're all laughing at you because you're a fucking dumbass. Oh, farming me the same way you got farmed 2 days ago and rage quit stream? Who farmed me? Also, ending my stream 4 hours in is, that's not the word rage quit. Yeah, I ended my stream after 4 hours. Don't act clueless. Was this the guy who got banned yesterday? There's a lot of people that get banned on YouTube, right? And then they come over to Twitch. There's a lot of people that get banned on YouTube and then they come over to Twitch. 1,000,000%. That's as usual nowadays. I mean, yeah, I usually do 3 to 4 hours right now because I've started, like, working out and stuff. Yeah, I've begun to realize that working out and taking care of yourself is not really conducive with 7 to 8 hour streams. Yeah, who could have thought? Yeah. Not really conducive to that. You rage quit, stop. You couldn't handle chat trolling you so hard, so you kept spamming bans. Hey guys, remember what I said about you can never actually win against an idiot? Because now they've turned somebody moderating his chat into you're rage quitting. Huh, you rage quit on those chatters. You banned them. You're a loser. Guys, there's really nothing you could do. There's a reason why this guy is talking so much once again. Think about it this way, right? I mean, let's just be real here. They're literally like they've been in a stream for 20 minutes. They've been in a stream for 20 minutes just getting laughed at and called stupid the entire time, and yet they're still here and they're still typing back. Yeah, guys, let me act like I'm laughing so I can avoid it. Moderating chat because they said skill issue. I don't think that there's a single person that I banned for saying skill issue. But sure, we can both make things up. Actually, no, your parents are related. Oh, wait, that's not made up. I'm sorry. Yeah, your family tree. I think I said this one before, but your family tree looks like an intertwined fate from Genshin Impact. You ready to see what one of those looks like? There you go. All right. It's been a while since we've done it. It's been a while since we've done one of these, hasn't it? Dude, hey, I'm going to be honest, man. Yo, Crim K, I got to give credit where credit is due. You have single-handedly increased my viewer count on both platforms by like 200 viewers each. That is how fun this entire experience has been for everybody here. So I'm actually not going to ban you because you've been a literal asset to my stream with the type of just completely ridiculous shit you've been typing this entire time. So yeah, I gotta give credit where credit is due, ladies and gentlemen. You are like the winner for today. Like this is the thing, right? He did such a good job today that he's low-key, he's eligible for like a payment. Like I should be PayPaling this guy for what he did today, but like I said before, he's doing it for free. Nobody asked him to do this. He's doing this because he's actually mad. He's actually angry. The idea that I said that Gion's team is good made him so angry that he decided that he had to pop in 11:42, 28 minutes ago, that he needed to spend 30 minutes of his day trying to prove me wrong because the idea of a male character being good, being high tier in a gacha game pissed him off so bad. Infuriated him. He's seething right now. And that's all it took. And you got to recognize, like I said before, when you're communicating with somebody like this, you got to know when to take an L. But fortunately, in the position of a streamer, where I get to just make fun of this guy and highlight how dumb he actually is, I can actually farm him. So really, it's a rare opportunity that I have over here. Not everybody can do it because at the end of the day, it's a waste of your time 99% of the time. But this is the 1% of the time where somebody actually benefits from a conversation like this. And I think this guy has actually realized the position that he's in because he stopped sending messages. So let's get some W's in the chat for Crim K606. Let's get some W's in the chat for Crim K. And just like as a final note, if you ever find yourself acting like this in the future, please get therapy. Please get therapy. So you don't end up like this. You will literally have no friends. You will literally not have a single friend in your life if that is how you interact with people on a daily basis. So, yeah, take it from what it is. All right, that's our therapy session. Hey, that's our therapy session for the day, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully he doesn't go, do stuff. Yeah, hopefully that release is enough for this guy. For the, I think the funniest part about that was the fact that the dude just repeatedly kept saying that I was delivering slurs. I think that's the funniest part. The dude was just repeatedly saying that I was, like, throwing slurs at him. Because I called him a fucking idiot. Just a couple of times. It is what it is, bro. It is what it is. I still can't believe that this is the freeze frame that the guy sent me. Genuinely, I still can't believe that, like, bro sent me a fucking timestamp of a Camellia team. Like, I think that's the part that really did it for me. Okay, wait, I need it. Sorry, I need to find the appropriate. What's it called? The appropriate picture for this. Here we go. Here we go. Where is it? Woo, chat. Hopefully he doesn't Alt F4 himself. Don't worry, I won't. So this is gonna be my response to that. Why'd you even bring it up? Why would you even bring something like this up? And also, who asked? And third, this sounds like projection. So yeah, those are my 3 responses to that statement. Why bring it up? Who asked? And this is projection. Hey, I'm gonna be real over here, man. You might be really fucking dumb, but there's probably at least one person in the world who loves you. So don't do whatever it is you think you're thinking about doing, because I don't know why you would even type this in my chat unless it's clearly on your mind. So, like, maybe instead of spending 30 minutes of your day in my stream doing whatever it is you're doing, go call a hotline. Jesus Christ. Guy, hey, okay. Can we... I've changed my mind. Can we report this guy to TOS real fast so that somebody can go reach out to him? I think that this message alone is probably enough to get to go send this to TOS. I do think he needs professional help. I'm not even joking. I hope that Twitch does something about this, because that is just such an odd... Bro sounds like he's like 6 feet from the edge. Yeah, this is getting uncomfortable. Like, just unprompted drops a line like this. What? It's like, bro needs a wellness check. Bro needs a wellness check. 1,000,000%. Good God. Yo, get out of my chat and get into therapy. Get out of my chat and get into therapy, brother. Jesus Christ. Hey, all gonna be real is, hey, I did my best, boys, but I ain't about this business. I ain't about somebody doing fucking ideation in my chat. Yeah, I'm good on that one, bro. I am good on somebody doing, like, literally ideation in my chat, bro. That's wild. That's wild. All of that, again, you're right. All of this because I said Gian was a good character. We're diving into this topical area because I said Gian is a good character. That's crazy. Oh, you said delete Yinlin? Oh, so he's just simping. Oh, so he was just simping. It's actually because I said delete Yinlin from the game. Oh, dearie me. Oh, dearie me. Did you agree with his take? I don't watch Rine videos because the guy reminds me of, like... The guy reminds me of a... What's the best word to describe Rine? It's like a guy who got bullied in like preschool, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, and at work. Like it just never stopped. That's what Rine reminds me of. So I just don't watch his videos. And I'll never watch his videos, right? Because he's a fucking bum. Yeah, I still remember that clip of him crying on stream about how nobody watches his videos because he's boring as shit and puts you to fucking sleep, right? I remember him crying on stream about how nobody watches his videos and how every other woo-wah creator is garbage compared to him. And he's just like bitching and moaning about how nobody will watch him, but everyone's watching all these other people. And it's like, okay, how about you just stop being a little pussy and make better content, right? But that's the thing, right? I'm not going to go help out a guy who's been publicly just bitching and moaning this much. It's like, I don't know how somebody can cry all the time like that. It's fucking nauseating, to be real. It is fucking nauseating that somebody can cry that much. Who are we talking about? Rine. Yeah, the guy is legitimately pathetic. If somebody wants to pull up the clip, if they got it from when he was like bitching and moaning a couple of months ago, hey, I'm down to watch it again. But yeah, bro's like a fucking... Wait, I think Fob Master might actually have it. Wait, I think Fob Master has it. Wait, Fob Master clips. Ah, here we go. Here we go. Right here. I know where it is. I know where it is. I found it. Oh, here we go. It's on the Fob Master clips. How long ago was it? 4 months ago? Hey, here we go. Here we go.
They have no idea how to play this game. They have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. They're literally tourists in their own game. In fact, I challenge every single one of them. $500 right now. We can race. See who can clear tower fastest on a fresh account. $500. I will wager on the line.
Bro doesn't have $500. I don't know why he's talking about wagering 500. He doesn't have that much money. He will like actually be homeless if he did that.
Every single one of you pussy bitches won't accept it. You know why? Because you suck ass at this game. You don't know how to actually play it. All you do is drama baits and farm on cooldown. You don't know any of the woes about this game. You don't actually understand anything you are talking about. You're all pathetic, stupid bitches. Fuck.
So, remember what I said? Doesn't this sound like somebody that just got bullied in elementary school? He got bullied in kindergarten, got bullied in elementary school, got bullied in middle school, got bullied in high school, got bullied in fucking summer classes as well, got bullied during SAT prep, got bullied during fucking freshman orientation at call. You get the gist.
Fuck you, Saint.
I was about to say, who?
You, Saint.
Why,
You're all pathetic, stupid bitches. Fuck you, Saint.
I was about to say, who's he bitching about?
Fuck you, Ethan. Fuck
That's what everyone says. Who is he bitching about?
you, Cap. Fuck every single one of you drama baiting motherfuckers.
Oh, okay.
And you want to know what this guy actually did before this? This was his attempt to get into drama bait to drive engagement for his channel. You want to know what he actually did prior? He reached out to Captain Cabinets, begging for a collab, I think 2 months before this. Yeah, we got records of him begging Captain Cabinets for a fucking collab. Please have me on a podcast. Please save me.
Jesus Christ. Well,
You're all disgusting to me.
that's who he's
Fuck
talking
you,
about.
Tectone, too, especially. Let's make it clear right now. Fuck them all.
He's a good CC? No, he isn't. Otherwise, people would fucking watch him then. Kind of that simple. If he was a good CC, people would watch him. But... Huge! Huge! Woo! Up 11.8%, baby! Woohoo! Like, what else can I say, bro? Why do you think bro talks so much? Why do you think bro talks so much? He gets more viewers on YouTube. Yeah, I guess. I guess you're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong. He 3x's his numbers on YouTube. Yeah, but 3 times 0 is still 0. And that's the thing, right? The hilarious thing is that, well, this is the reality of the situation. Bro, unfortunately, has put himself into some of the worst positions possible. And the reason for that is quite simple. All you need to do is simply rehash this issue at any point, and he's fucking cooked. Right? Because all that we need to do is take a look at this clip,
They have no idea.
talk about this guy, and then completely, at any point, he can just be buried. Because what this is literally him mauling and rage baiting because he's a bad content creator that people don't want to watch. You just pull this up. Hey, this is the guy that was begging people for collabs. And this is the thing. We all have the receipts. Yeah, everybody has the receipts. Cap has the receipts. I have the receipts. Ethan's got the receipts. We all got the receipts, right, of this situation. All the proof. And, well, this is the thing, right, is at any point, the more annoying this guy's fans get, the more you guys link his videos, the more you guys start bitching and moaning every single time I either don't watch his stuff or don't want to watch his trash. Well, guys, at one point, you keep bringing him up enough. Hey, we'll just make our video on this. Just drop it, and then it's fucking easy. That's the thing. Because I've got nothing, no reason to do this guy any favors at all. Because this is my first interaction ever with him.
Oh, okay. Jesus Christ. Well,
Fuck every single one of you drama. Fuck you, Saint.
That's the first time I've ever had an interaction with him, is him telling me, fuck me. First time we've ever had a reaction before. The first time. So literally, unless bro like gets on his fucking on the fucking digital equivalent of getting on his fucking hands and knees and apologizing and announcing that he was in fact being a fucking cunt, then we'll maybe move on. But until then, yeah, I don't know about this guy, but don't worry. We'll make sure to pop him like a little pimple if I get annoyed enough. Because that's all the shit that we have. Like, there is so much. There is so fucking much that is available on this guy. I don't think he realizes that people are simply doing him a favor by not talking about it. Literally, people are just doing him a favor by not talking about it at all. And that's the bad part about making videos like that, about having clips like that. That's the bad part about it is yeah, being recorded looking like that much of a bitch is a little unfortunate. It is a little bit unfortunate. What is this?
Have you guys heard? A certain slop tuber reacted to me. Did you guys know he ducked my challenge because he's a little pussy and submissive and breedable bitch? That's wild, bro. Isn't it weird how none of these slop tubers can actually stand up for anything? None of them actually have the balls to challenge people. None of them have the balls to take on anything. All they want to do is sit behind their screen.
You remember what I said? I think this guy's also maliciously gay. Yo, Sydney, appreciate it, brother, man. Oh, did you get my... Hey. How you doing, man? Hope you're doing good, brother. Yeah, this guy's giving me some Loki Gacha vibes over here. Yeah, he's giving me some Loki Gacha vibes. Again, the term is maliciously gay. It's just like it's such weird shit to say. It's just such weird shit to say. Why do you attract these freaks? I don't know, man. It's been like this since it's been like this for a while. Let's just say that. Do you guys know? You guys do recall how many times I've said, right, that I'm a gay magnet. Unintentionally, I'm not a homosexual, but I am a gay magnet. It's just how it is. And we've had multiple instances of male CCs talking about how much they want to fuck me in their videos. And it's so weird. It's like so weird that they're doing that. I don't know why they keep doing it. I think it almost I think it low key, some of their videos and some of the things they've said in their videos, I think it constitutes a sexual harassment. I'm not even joking. Like, imagine the stuff that they're saying. Pretend I'm a girl. That's all you need to do. Think about the things that Loki Gacha said in his videos. Think about the things that guy just said on stream, right? And then pretend I'm a girl. And then replay those statements. Doesn't seem that good, does it? It doesn't seem that good, does it? Hey, once again, play this and pretend I'm a woman. Pretend during this clip I'm a woman.
Have you guys heard? A certain slop tuber reacted to me. Did you guys know he ducked my challenge because he's a little pussy and submissive and breedable bitch? That's wild, bro. Isn't it weird how none of these slop tubers can actually stand up for anything? None of them actually have the balls to challenge people. None of them have the balls to take on anything. All they want to do is sit behind their screens and shit talk people all day. Isn't it so fucking funny when someone calls them out? All they do is duck and hide.
Yeah, it's a little off, isn't it? That's a little off, isn't it? Right? Then we got the whole Loki Gacha vid where bro's like fantasizing about me like screaming his name in the middle of the night. That's a direct quote from his video. Imagine I'm a woman in that context. It's like, Jesus. That's what I'm saying. Literally, it sounds like sexual harassment, brother. Like, Jesus Christ. Bro, you're not a girl. That's the thing. I'm not a woman. But these guys are gay. It's like, hey guys, if you get sexually harassed by a gay guy, it's not real. What do you even mean? So yeah, that's why there are certain, I mean, that's probably enough context, right? For why I just will not interact with certain individuals. Because they're fucking freaks, man. They give me weird fucking vibes. Like, to the degree where it's like, I'm literally, I would be uncomfortable being in the same fucking zip code as them. Because it's just like, bro, what's wrong with them? What is wrong with them to the degree where they're publicly making statements like that? Making it permanent so that other people can see what they said later. It's just weird. And this is the thing. The most that I'll do, right? I'll say that somebody's being a fucking idiot. Somebody's being hella stupid. They got low IQ. Digital footprint. That's the thing. These guys don't realize the type of digital footprint that they're leaving. Just again, it's just the second that they cause me more than a mild inconvenience, we'll just do the whole breakdown of it. And this is the thing. It don't matter how old it is. It don't matter how long ago it was either. Because we did the same thing. We did the same thing for good old Mr. 7 out of 10. I got a long memory. I don't think a lot of people recognize that. I got one of the best memories in the space. I remember a lot of things. I can reference things off the back of my hand, just like that. And every time somebody pushes the boundary, well, what do? I can go through the entire repository. And make an entire 20+ minute video on it. Just going through all the receipts, all the details, all of that. Yes, sirree. You did not learn from the Jenna situation, bro. Why are you calling people creeps, pedos, and weirdos when they call you out? I didn't. I never did that. Yeah. My stance is I never did that. But the crazy thing is, that's what everyone is still saying. But unfortunately, it's doing way more. I don't think a lot of people realize that claim is doing way more damage to Genazad than it does to me. Because they just keep repeating it over and over and over. Like they just keep spamming it. And the reality of the situation is, I'm not the one with an S6 Rosia. So it's like, even if you have no context on it, it's just, like, that's just what it is. And so, like, the more you guys keep saying it, the worse it gets. I hope you guys understand that. But they bring it up months later, right? And then he just has an S6 Rosia. So it's like, it doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. And the sooner you guys realize that, the sooner I can assume you're not actually trying to sabotage the guy. Because again, every time you guys bring it up, it's making it look worse for him. Yeah, You called him a pedo. No, I made a joke about him having S6 Rosia. And then that's a fact. He has one. It's a fact that he has one. And then you guys just keep going with it. You keep going with it. But that fact is something that will never change. It's gotten to the point, right, where these guys have gone so far with it. They've gone so far with this thing that anyone that has like an S6 Rosia is now getting attacked. Like anyone that just has one gets attacked nowadays. I hope you guys realize you did this. You did this. And I think it's also a fact. Let's just be real here. Your immediate reaction to hearing that somebody S6 Rosia is like, you'll raise an eyebrow. That's also a fact. Yeah, you raise your fucking eyebrow if you heard that somebody did that. Don't play. You know it's the truth. The fuck? You know that's the truth. Is that your account? Yeah, it's mine. Yeah, this was mine. Oh, you know what? Shit. I just had a good idea. Why don't we get into and do my account review? Why don't we do my account review? Yeah, brother. Hey, let me just make sure my Galbreda is like fully built. Damn, this build is kind of shit. Oh, it's kind of really fucking bad. It's kind of bad. I can surely do better than this one. That Flame Wing Shadow is some dog shit. Yeah, let me go build an Echo real fast before my own account review. Come on. Okay. I am You wanna know why I have no tuners? I have no tuners because I don't want to play the fucking Vampire Survivors event. That's defense. Oh man. Well, at least I didn't roll that one out to 25. At least I prevented the account bricking from there. All right, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real fast, then we'll get back to this. Account manager for boring events, where? Hey, we might need one. Who wants to do HSR after all? We might need Saint to do 5 gifted before he reviews his own account. That would be kind of funny, wouldn't it? That would be kind of funny, isn't it? If I gifted 5 to review my own account. I think that seems like it would be good content. That seems like it would be good content, actually. All right, maybe we will. Maybe we will. Alrighty. How do I get that going? How do I do that? Sorry, Saint, you are number 30 in the queue. All right, let me pop that open. Where are we at? All right, how do I can gift 5 subs to myself. It's to a bunch of people I don't even I've never even seen these fucking people before. I've never even seen these people before. All right, let me go take a All right. Let's get on into this one. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for an account review, and you guys might be a little bit surprised, especially considering the fact that this is probably a UID and this is probably a username that you've seen very often before. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we will actually be doing a review of my account, because across the past year and 6 months that this game has been live, well, it's more like 5, I actually haven't done an account review. People don't actually know what half the builds on my units are. I'm constantly getting questions about, oh, what's your shorekeeper looking like? Oh, what's your Chang Li looking like? What's your Zani looking like? What are your sequence nodes? People are thinking I have an S6 Zani. And, well, the reality of the situation is it's time for us to do a bit of a breakdown. But there's also a truth that I have to talk about when it comes to my account reviews. Typically, I do account reviews after somebody gifts subs in my channel. So I went ahead and for this occasion, gifted 5 of my own. So we're on the list. I'm moving myself up for obvious reasons. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get right on into it. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. So first things first, we've got to take a look at a couple of the units that are on the account. And we're just going to go through in sequential order from the top down, because you know in Augusta, Galbraith, there's some of the newest units. We've got every single unit in the game. So, yeah, this might be a bit of a long one. Alrighty, so first things first, looking at the shorekeeper. She's just at 230% ER, a nice 224% crit rate, or crit damage. Only 3.3k HP, because I don't feel the need for her healing very often. And when it comes to her echoes, right, we just got a crit damage fallacy and no return. We've got ER Hoot Chief. We got a Spectro damage 3 cost, and then 2 HP 1 cost. And I just use her on an R5 variation. I've never felt the need for Stellar Symphony. It just is what it is. I know she has low HP, but I don't need the healing. And you can kind of tell that I don't really need the healing based off the fact that this is what her skill tree looks like. I don't even know why I have a level 7 Resonance Liberation. I don't even know why I have a level 7 Resonance skill. That's what we're looking like over here. So that's her. Now let's take a look at the IU. And I'm going to be honest with you. Her build is absolutely disgusting. We've got her on Moongazer Sigil, her signature. And when it comes to the pieces that she's going to have, she'll have, for her Lady of the Sea, a crit damage with ER, attack, 21%, and a 6.9. Yeah, she's looking pretty good. Oh, and when it comes to the shorekeeper, yeah, her sequence nodes. I forgot, my bad. She's S1. Now, taking a look at the Uno once again. She's got a pretty crazy Lady of the Sea. We got really lucky on this one. It's basically a 5 out of 5. And, well, when it comes to her 3 cost, she's going to have a nice 4 out of 5 on this one. Crit damage, resonance liberation, crit rate, and attack. And now, when it comes to the Kara Sword, this is probably the most mid piece of them all. Crit damage, relatively high crit rate, and just ER, and then 2 very, very annoying substats down there. For the 1 cost, another 5 out of 5 for the Nightmare Electro Predator. Crit damage, attack, liberation, and crit rate. And then for our last piece, we actually are missing crit rate over here. This was going to be on Windward Pilgrimage. Attack, resonance liberation, crit damage, and ER. The rolls are really, really, really high, so I just went with this one for now. So, yeah, that's what the Uno's looking like. And as you can tell, 83, 275, and then we got a nice 37.9% liberation damage, ladies and gentlemen. So she does actually kind of pop off. Yeah, her substats are pretty damn good. Now let's move on to our Augusta. And this Augusta over here, I think there's some slight optimizations that could be made. We could go for a crit damage 4 cost, do a little bit of that, but the rest of the stats are looking relatively good. Let's find out how the cookie crumbled. We do have her signature, only 12.1% crit rate. First things first, we got a crit rate, false sovereign. 10.5%, 10.9 heavy attack, flat attack, and of course, 13.8% crit damage. Not that great. For the 3 cost, kind of a min-roll Martin piece over here, but it's got nice attack and heavy attack rolls for a nice 4 out of 5. And this Flautist, well, they're going to be out here with a nice 5 out of 5. 10.5%, 9.2, 8.6 attack, and, good crit damage over there. And then the Aero Predator. My Zhang Liao was pretty well built back in the day. We're just going to get another 5 out of 5 over here. So that's what her first four pieces are looking like. And now this is going to be the other Electro Predator that we have. And it's going to be crit damage, crit rate, attack. This one's okay. It's not the best. But, I mean, I can't be too unhappy with a character that almost has 3k attack in the character select menu. Now, those are 2 of the most well-built characters that are going to be on this account. Let's go ahead and keep looking at the newest one, Galbrina. And, she's okay. Right? She got a nice 2.2k attack. Decent crit damage, and the crit rate in combat is around 82. Let's see what the subsets are looking like. Oh, and before I move on to her, S0, S0. Also S0. She's going to have her weapon. And let's take a look at this Chorosaurus. So this one's okay. 21% crit, flat attack, and 6.9% crit rate. Kind of wish there were some better rolls over here, but it is what it is, right? That's why some of her crit numbers are so relatively high. Next, we got an Arsenosa. Actually, we're running double fusion via the Flaming Clawprit set. And this one has also high crit damage, crit rate, and ER, and then 2 kind of like dead ones over here. And now we got the fusion damage bonus, Nightmare Saurian. And this guy's got ER, really, really low crit damage, high crit rate though, and then a decent heavy attack damage bonus over there. So not too unhappy about this one. And then this is where it starts getting a little bit suspect, and this is where I still need to grind some more Nightmare Nests. We got the Baby Rostrum over here, a bit of a Mineral Martin piece, but it's still a 4 out of 5. And then this guy over here, who's just kind of... He's just a crit and ER stat stick. But the thing is, I already have enough ER. 120 is sort of the max for this unit. It's kind of a dead stat from there. So that's more of like a 2 out of 5. So her build is probably one of the most mid ones on the roster for this account. Kind of wish it was better, but we'll get there with time. Nightmare Nest can be a bit of a pain. It takes a while to get a good set most of the time. Now, we've got our other Nightmare Nest character. We've got Frolova. And just so you guys know, in combat, she has around 97.8% crit rate. Yeah, she's got around 97.8% crit rate because of the set. So, let's see what her build's looking like. We got just a regular Hekati, a good 4 out of 5. High crit rate, crit damage, attack. Pretty decent. Kind of wish the rolls were better, but I can't complain too much because I got this one fast. When it comes to her Tambourinus, the Havoc damage one, we're going to have Resonant Skill, very high crit damage, but also a really, really low critical rate. But the thing is, Frolova doesn't need that many crit rate rolls. And now, we've got a Abyssal Gladius on the Midnight Veil set for the 2-piece. And this was going to give crit rate, crit damage, skill, attack, and then here's our dead ER roll. Yep, the most useless ER roll on my account. For this one over here, the Chest Mimic, we're also going to be on Midnight Veil. Crit rate, crit damage, and attack. Just good overall stats. Kind of wish there was Resonance Skill on here, but not complaining too much. And now, for our Nightmare Glacial Predator. This guy's kind of cooking. Resonance Skill, attack, crit damage, and crit rate. So yeah, this build over here is also pretty high quality. You can see there's been a good amount of care put into the echo farming over here. A good amount of care put into the echo tuning. This guy clearly takes care of his account. Now, let's move on to
I shall have
Lupa.
tarnishing victory's honor.
She's also going to be on her signature, just like Frolova. Frolova's also S0. Lupa's going to be S0. Let's take a look at the build. So, in the 4 slot, the equip slot, we're going to have a Lioness of Glory. And this one's just going to be a pretty good overall stat stick, a good 3 out of 5, relatively high rolls. Fusion damage bonus over here, very, very high. ER, high crit damage, but no other real offensive stats. But ER is a very important stat on Lupa. You want around 130. Fusion damage bonus over here. Attack, ER, crit rate, crit damage. Plus a good heavy attack damage bonus over here. That's pretty cool. Wait, I should probably go put this on Galbrina. What am I doing? Wait. Oh, I can't because I'm using this fucking Chorosaurus. Never mind. Maybe when we farm a good Remini for Thernodian, we can just run double 3 costs. But for now, we're kind of screwed over there. So yeah, that's what the 3 cost is looking like. I'm hoping to be able to put this on Galbrina one day after I do some more farming. But that's the nice flexibility that occurs when you have the 3-piece and the 2-piece sets. This 1 cost is also... This is one of the better ones. This is definitely a good one. Solid 4 out of 5. Some could say 5 out of 5 because Lupa actually does deal heavy attack damage. But that's ER, crit damage, crit rate, and then Resonance Liberation. And then over here, crit damage and crit rate really high, and then Resonance Liberation. So yeah, this Lupa's build, not too much, but it's still got a nice combination of stats. Now, let's move on to my Cartithia. And this is the thing. Cartithia builds on my account are super rare. Looking at my Cartithia stats is super rare because I never play this unit. Because I actually don't like playing this unit that much. I think her gameplay's it feels a little bit off for me. But we'll take a look at the build. Crit rate, crit damage, and basic attack. No HP over here. The Kelpie, on the other hand, is going to have basic attack, very high ER, and then crit damage and crit rate, also very high. Felt very lucky rolling this one. And then we're going to have a 1 cost, basic attack, crit damage, crit rate, and a max HP roll, 11.6% by the way. And then over here, HP 10, crit damage, crit rate, and then a flat HP as well. And then for our third HP, 8.6%, 6.9, the last ER roll that we need, and a min-roll Martin crit damage. So, yeah, we're at 50.1k, basically 51k HP over here. If your Cartithia isn't at least 50k HP, she's, like, not even built, right? So, make sure you use this as a bit of a marker, a bit of a baseline to see a high-quality stuff. I'm just joking. I just make fun of other people that aren't at 50k because for some godforsaken reason, I got a shit ton of HP rolls. So that's what she's looking like. She's also going to be S0 and, of course, have her signature, like most units on the account. Now, let's take a look at Cartithia's partner in crime. We got Chacona. And this Chacona build, ladies and gentlemen, is kind of unethical. It's kind of illegal. And honestly, I could use a little bit more ER. She's also S0, but I have her sequence node for reasons. Let's look at the build. She's going to have this crit damage, Remini, Fleur-de-Lis. It's a 4 out of 5. Some could even say, because Chacona does basic attacks, it could be considered a 5 out of 5. This one's pretty cracked. We're now going to have a 4 out of 5 Capitanius Giga Chad ready to go. Attack, liberation, crit rate, crit damage. And then we got an arrow damage. Rage against the statue. Also another 4 out of 5. ER, crit rate, crit damage, and attack. Then we got our Sagittario, ER, crit damage, crit rate. And then our Electro Drake, crit damage, crit rate, ER. So yeah, really low ER rolls on a lot of the pieces. That has unfortunately kind of bricked my Chacona at like 124. Wish at least a couple of these were like 10%, but it is what it is. I might actually be able to make the ER a little bit higher at the sacrifice of some other stats, but I don't really care that much. She's looking fine. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at... I know a lot of people are excited for this one. Let's take a look at my Zoni. This is what my Zoni is looking like. She's S0. She has her weapon. Let's take a look at the build. So we got a nice 4 out of 5 spectral damage bonus on our Capitanius over here. The only thing bad about this one is the crit damage is kind of dog shit. This one is a very middling Morning Ikes. It's got no... I mean, it's technically a 4 out of 5 because Zani does a bit of liberation damage, but I wish there was like an attack or something in here. And the crit damage is really low. Good 4 out of 5. Pretty good. Most would say almost amazing, actually. 4 out of 5 on this spectral damage Abyssal Mercator. And then we got another pretty whopping contribution over here on the crit rate and the crit damage side for a headless Chop Chop. 9.4, 9.3, 16.2. And then for our last piece, crit rate and crit damage, and then a bunch of other damage types. Wish there was some more attack. But yeah, the Zani build is like okay. It's not like the craziest thing ever, but I wouldn't say it's like the worst thing ever. We still have a decent amount of heavy attack, 25.9, and a decent amount of liberation too. And in combat with the Shorekeeper, I think this goes to about 84% or something like that crit rate, so it is pretty reliable. Now, let's move on. We've got our next unit. Yeah, she's a bit of a work in progress at the moment. So, when it comes to my sub DPSs, I do something where I share a lot of the pieces that are on the account. Like, a lot of the pieces. And for Cantarella, I don't actually run her on Midnight Veil most of the time. I do actually run her on a coordinated attack set. And the unfortunate part is that I'm still in the middle of, like, rolling a Hecate. I will at some point. But this is kind of like the best that I got right now. You could tell that I don't really use this unit that often because, well, I kind of like build her halfway because I don't really feel like she's the most fun to play. So I actually don't use the Frolova team very often because I don't like playing this unit. I feel like I'm having a seizure whenever I use her heavy attack and then start, you know, going into the alternative Mirage form. It's a little bit rough. But let's just go ahead and see the pieces that I do have available. I've got two sort of builds for her. I've got a Midnight Veil that's like in the middle of getting built. And I've got like decent pieces to go alongside it. But I haven't really felt the need to actually put it into practice. And so I ended up using the pieces on Frolova. But going back to Empyrene, we got this. We're also going to have... Where is it over here? I think I'll run this one. I typically run the 4 cost naturally, right? Then I run an attack 3 cost so that I can share this with as many units on the account as possible. Then I got my 1 elemental or attribute damage type havoc damage bonus over here that has pretty good stats. And then I run 2 1 cost over here. And I think I can give her a better 1 cost, actually, on Empyrene Anthem. So I'll just do that. There we go. And, yeah, now her stats are looking a bit better, but we definitely have way too much ER. So, a lot of work that can be done for this Cantarella. She's also got her weapon. So, this is kind of like my passion project that I should be working on in the background that I actually don't have a lot of passion for, so I just haven't been working on it at all. So, yeah, that's that one. Oh, wait a second. Oh, did somebody just show up in my chat? Wait 1 second, guys. I'm late. Did Saint get hit by reality and make a sorry video? No. I think, we've banned him on my Discord too, right? No, that's the one guy who's, like, been going around saying Saint needs to make an apology video for saying Woo-Wah 2.7 has no content. Yeah, go fuck yourself, dumbass. Get out of my community. Yeah, he's like, oh, Saint needs to make a sorry video for being so rude to Wuwa 2.7. He's like, no, the patch is dog shit. Get the patch is dog shit aside from the story. Like, what are we even talking about over here? What a freak. Anyways, Cantarella's over with. She's S0. Let's move on. Now, ladies and gentlemen,
stage will life guide us next?
this is where we're going to enter the Twilight Zone. This is where you're going to look at my Echo rolls and you're going to ask, check him PC. This is a dev account. Because this is, in my opinion, the best built Brant on the server. I don't think there's a better Brant than this one, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead. Let's break this bad boy down and see what he has in store. Dragon of Dirge. Crit rate, 10.5%, 15% crit damage, 8.4% ER, and 9.4% attack. Chop, Chop, ER, 3 cost. Basic attack damage, 9.9% crit rate, 18.6% crit damage, 8.4% ER. Fusion damage bonus, 3 cost. Minimum crit rate, maximum attack, maximum ER, pretty good crit damage. And then for the 1 cost, ER, really high crit damage, really high crit rate. And then, my best Echo I've ever rolled, because I was desperate to get another 4 out of 5 on Brant. Basic attack damage, crit damage, ER, crit rate, they're all super high. And the end result, ladies and gentlemen, when you combine it with his signature, he's also an S0. His build is a little bit unethical. But this is the thing. You might be like, oh, say, you're not maxing it out. You're not going to 280% ER. Your build is trash. Well, this is what I got to share for you, ladies and gentlemen. I've got another one. I could just go again. And it actually has better stats. Yep, I got a build where I'm at 285% ER when I use them in Lupa teams. And now we're at almost 90% crit rate in the character selection menu. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I'm telling you, 90% 240 might actually be the best built Brant in the space. And I would like to see if there are any competitors when it comes to this matter. All right. Where people say they don't like the chirping? All right. Fine. We'll turn off the chirping.
Where my blades lead.
So yeah, that's what our Brant is looking like over here. And as you can tell, I put a lot of tuners into building this guy. I built a lot of tubes. And what I'll tell you firsthand is that this character, without a doubt, did in fact break my account. Building him and Rosia was the reason why I was in a tuner shortage for about 5 months. Because I had a lot of them heading into building Brant and Rosia. And then afterwards, I had none of them. So, yeah, I still consider those two to be the hardest built characters in the game. And don't worry, wait until you see the builds that I have on them. All right, now we got Phoebe. This one is a little bit questionable because, let's be honest, if you have a Zani, you're not really using Phoebe as like a main DPS anymore. And so this is just the build that I run with her. We got Luminous Him. We got all of that going on. And then I just run her on a very basic Moonlit Cloud set. I mean, it's not a bad set either, though. That's the thing. The set is actually, like, it's got decent subs on it. But this is why I can safely say the character does no fucking damage when she's in confession mode. Because, well, I have her on a pretty damaging overall set, but she doesn't do anything. And so that's why I always tell people, you can just have her on like the most random shit ever. You can just run her on ER3 costs. The difference will be her Liberation doing 15k damage versus it doing 30k damage. The end result is that it deals no damage. And that's just the reality of the situation over here. So, yeah, she's on a supportive set. It is what it is. And I just give her a combination of Zodi pieces if I ever want to play her as a main DPS. But I'm just going to be honest, I don't even like playing this character as a main DPS. She feels kind of clunky. But that's that. We can check out the build for her later. I don't really feel like it because I think nobody even plays her as a DPS anymore. Now, let's move on to Rosia. And this is where stuff's going to get a little bit crazy. Because if you thought my Brant build was good, well, prepare to temper your expectations. Because now we have also what is likely the best Rosia on the server as well. She is incredibly, disgustingly well built. And the problem is that I hate this character and I never play her. I hate playing as her. I hate how she gets interrupted from a light breeze because I don't have her S1. So I never actually use this unit. And the thing is, I also have her signature because I felt like I had to pull it because her build was so good. Let me show you the build that led to this entire situation. We've got our first 4 costs on the build. Heavy attack, AER, crit damage, crit rate. Yeah, basically the perfect combination of stats for her, but the rolls are kind of low. Then you look at this. 10.5% crit rate, 10.9% heavy attack, and then crit damage. Then we got this bad boy. Crit damage, heavy attack, 9.3% crit rate, and then 7.9% attack. Guys, there are people using 4-year-old Twitch accounts and then renaming themselves. And then I think this is the guy that we banned earlier. Yeah, I think this is the guy we banned earlier. And this is becoming a daily occurrence. That's that's a little weird, brother. Hey, that's a little weird, brother. I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't even know why you had a 4-year-old Twitch account, but then to use it for the sole purpose of renaming yourself. You genuinely have a certified mental freak hater? Absolutely. Anyways, getting back to the Rosia build. Really high crit damage, really high crit rate, heavy attack, and attack. You can't really ask for too much more from this other than an ER roll. That's where these pieces are going to come in. Yeah, do I need to say more? Yeah, do I need to say more about this one cost? Mid-roll. The only mid-roll on here is the crit damage. But I'm happy as hell with everything else. And now for the last piece. Get ready for this one, lads. It's actually just like barely okay. Now that I think about it, this one isn't really even that amazing. Did I move some pieces around? Oh, yeah, that one's better. Oh, wait, no, that one's better. Oh, wait, no, this one's better. Yeah, there we go. Okay, the build just improved, actually. There we go. So, the Rosia is now 74.6% crit rate, 283.8% crit damage, and 130% ER. And if you know how this character works, right? Oh, she also has 35.2% heavy attack damage. So that's another thing that she has. You need around 70% crit rate at a baseline to fully activate her buff. But getting high crit damage, high crit rate, and 130 ER on this unit is one of the hardest challenges I've ever seen in roster building before. And so anyone that has better stats than this, reach out to me, send me the photo, because otherwise you are 1,000,000% just fucking lying. I genuinely do think the Fool's Troop, at least on my account, they're the best built Fool's Troop on the goddamn server. So yeah, feel free to prove me wrong on that. Now it's time for us to move on. All right. Last thing, no sequence nodes on these two units. Now let's get to the unit that I actually do have sequence nodes on. And that is, of course, going to be my Carlotta. And one thing to be fair about when it comes to Carlotta, she's also going to be one of the most well-built characters on my account. But the thing is, I found this character's gameplay to be so brain dead and easy that I got extra copies of her when I was pulling her the first time. I just decided to get her up to S4. I've exhausted my 2 dupes from the shop. We might just get her to S6 at some point. But the idea is we got an R1 weapon. Let's check out the build. So, we got a crit damage Sentry Construct over here with a nice 8.7 resonant skill damage, flat attack, and crit damage over here. I run crit damage because I use her with Shorekeeper, and her S1 gives 12.5% crit rate. So, she's actually at like 80% in combat. For her Glacial damage bonus, 3 cost, well, you already know. Yeah, you already know. Mid echoes? Yeah, sure. I think most people wouldn't call this one mid, but, you know. This, however, is a mid echo. And the only reason why I'm using this one is because it has ER. I only have 1 ER roll on the build because I couldn't find the budget to find any ER elsewhere. That's because the rest of the pieces, ladies and gentlemen, they're kind of good too. We got a 4 out of 5 over here with attack, crit damage, and crit rate. Almost max rolls on this bad boy. And then for this one, we're going to have Resonant Skill, best in slot crit rate, and then a pretty decent crit damage on top of it. So, yeah, these 3 pieces could do some work. But the thing is, when it comes to the Frosty Resolve set, ladies and gentlemen, I've actually got a lot of alternatives that I'm just waiting for the opportunity to use. But with my Carlotta dealing so much damage at like S4, it's just, I haven't really found a reason to farm for her set much more. So that's kind of like one of the other cons of pulling sequence nodes is that you don't really feel like you need to improve their echoes that much anymore. And that's kind of where we're at. So I'm just like waiting for an opportunity to use these bad boys. It'll happen eventually. But yeah, she deals around 600, 700k with her Liberation Final Shot. Pretty fun time. Now let's move on. We got our Camellia.
Would you like a fun game?
Her
Her
build's okay. It's pretty good. We got 2.5k attack. Let's take a look at the echoes. We got a Nightmare Crown list over here with crit damage, basic attack, and crit rate, 6.9%. We got a Havoc damage bonus over here with, honestly, this one is cracked. This one is actually pretty damn cracked. Close to max crit rate, good crit damage, basic attack, and ER. And then we got an attack 3-cost Rostroom over here, because 1 attack 3 cost is actually optimal on Camellia, right? And this one's going to give crit rate, attack, and then crit damage. It is what it is. Now we got a Havoc Warrior. And this guy I'm using for one reason. It's because he has ER. I actually have like a better Havoc Warrior just sitting on standby. But the unfortunate part is that I really need this ER for this character to work properly. So I'm using like a suboptimal one just for that purpose. It sucks, but it is what it is. And then for my last piece, I could definitely work on some of my 1.0 character sets. It could be better, right? It could have some more offensive substats, but we do have a fair number of relatively high crit rate rolls, which allows the Camellia to get close to 70%. But I'm going to be real. She's kind of unusable without Shorekeeper because I miss almost everything at about 68%. So, yeah, that's her. She works fine in all the content right now. Having a lot of fun with her. Now let's move on. We got our Zhangli Yao.
The experiment begins.
Unfortunately, Augusta's taking all his fucking pieces. So let me go revise that real fast. All right, so he's going to be sharing pieces with Augusta. This is what the build's looking like. Pretty good overall, but he's got way too much ER. Let's take a look at how he's also got a signature. So does Camellia. She's also S0. He's also S0. If you want like a bit of a teaser, she's the only character that I have more than 1 sequence node on my account. Now let's take a look at the Zhang Liao build. This is a piece of dog shit. I'm just going to be honest with you. I rolled 1 Nightmare Thundering Nephis, and I got this, and I just haven't rolled anymore. But this is undeniably not a good piece. It is like barely above it's basically like a double crit min roll, and then everything else doesn't do anything. So yeah, this is bad. But we're following up on it with another set of minerals, except this one's a 4 out of 5 mineral. So it's slightly better, but as you already saw, I already have too much ER. So it's basically a 3 out of 5, and it's all minerals. Now, this is where stuff starts getting interesting. This is where stuff starts getting a little bit good. This is the same Electro 3 cost that we saw on Augusta. It's still really fucking good. No matter it'll work on any Electro DPS, assuming that they can use a 2-piece at minimum. And then, of course, we've got the same exact Arrow Predator. And this guy is also really, really, really good. Doesn't have the damage type, but it's a light of attack. And then for our last one, this is like if this guy was just slightly worse in every way. I'm not complaining about it, though. This Echo is just this Echo, but this one's slightly worse in every single way. It is what it is, but it gets the job done. And the end result, hey, his build is pretty good. We could optimize the substats a bit more, but I'm pretty happy with how he's crumbled out. But he has a lot of minerals. Now let's move on. We're slowly getting to release day. We got our G-Jaw, and as you can see, she's kind of... Don't mind her. We're just putting her clothes on real fast. This is what the G-Jaw is looking like on Empyrene Anthem. And we're going to see the same sort of like build sharing going on that we had for Cantarella. Except the pieces are just way better on here. Basic attack, crit rate, crit damage. We got the same Nocturnus Knight over here. We got a pretty decent, I would say pretty damn good glacial damage Chop Chop with that 21%. And then the whole really good roll over here on the Hocus Pocus. And then, of course, missing a crit rate roll, but because we're on String Master, it doesn't matter. Volt, Scourge, Stalker. So, yeah, that's what she's looking like. And, yeah, this is the one character that I think I don't have her signature on, because I think Jedge's signature is literally the worst one in the game. I think it is legitimately the worst signature in the game, and I don't recommend anybody pulls it. And so I'll follow my own advice and not actually pull it. Now, it's time to get into 1.2. We've only got 4 characters left, ladies and gentlemen.
Plan with convention, then conquer by ingenuity.
We've got our Chang Li. And as you can see, she's got absolutely nothing. That's because, unfortunately, I need to go put her fucking gear back on. Okay. Okay, all right. Well, I guess you're seeing the pieces firsthand. This is the Nightmare Glizzy Rider. They're kind of bad. Their rolls are really, really, really low. This was also another instance where I just like farmed the Nightmare Echo really fast, got double crit, and then just moved on. However, her other echoes are pretty good. First and foremost, we've got these, okay? Crit rate, crit damage, flat attack, liberation, resident skill. This is basically a 5 out of 5 on Chang Li because she actually does a shit ton of liberation damage. I think it should be highlighted for her if I'm frankly being honest. And then over here, we're going to have crit rate, crit damage, attack percentage, and then resident skill. This one looks pretty solid too, doesn't it? I know, it looks great. And now this is where stuff gets a little bit spicy. Oh, yeah. Now you're shutting the fuck up, aren't you? Now you're shutting the fuck up about the quality of the echoes, aren't you? She's got a good build, motherfuckers. Check that out. Boom. 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 2 solid pieces rounding out the 1 cost squad. And that's what Chang Li's looking like. She's also going to be S0, and she will have, of course, the skin. Now for another 1.1 character with the skin, it's time to take a look at our Jancy. And I'm going to be honest, my Jancy has some issues. I should probably get a better build for her, but you might understand once you see what she's got equipped. All right. Both her and Chang Li are going to have her signatures. Jancy's also going to be S0. Let's take a look at her echoes. We got a Jue over here, and this Jue is it's a little okay, right? It's got minimum roll crit damage, but it does have high crit rate, and it also has resonant skill damage and flat attack. It's pretty good. I like the 9.3. Then we got a Light Crusher with, unfortunately, another 12.6, but we've got resonant skill and crit rate, and also the same flat attack. And then we got this bad boy, an attack Auto Puppet Scout 3 cost with resident skill, crit damage, crit rate, and then attack percentage. And would you look at that, motherfucker? Oh no, looks like all of Saints 1.0 units have a god tier echo. Because I would say most people would consider this one to be a god tier echo. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Havoc Prism over here is absolutely crushing it with this lineup. And now we got the other side of the equation over here. We got our one min-roll Martin crit rate roll. Remember, the other ones are all like pretty damn high. And this is while this is bringing the quality of the build down, it is also another 4 out of 5, and it's got the resonant skill. So the problem with my Jinsei is pretty simple. She doesn't have enough ER to use her liberation once every other rotation, and that causes some issues with the the flow of combat. So I need to get like 10% more ER on her. We'll do it eventually, but I would say her build is looking pretty solid regardless of that. But without the 120, I do feel it in combat. And now
No rush. The impatient ones will fall right into our lap.
we got Yinlin. And this one over here is going to be a little bit rough for one specific reason, because I really hate using this character. So I've actually got like 2 builds for her. I've got one build where I just take the Jeja set if I'm using Empyrene, and then I just replace the echoes with like electro damage ones. I also have a Moonlit Cloud set, but I'm gonna be real over here. This unit is so suck. It doesn't matter. You could like the difference between her being built and not built, and the team's DPS is like almost non-existent, because her liberation is literally dealing like 50,000 damage. If you thought Phoebe in confession mode didn't do that much damage, just wait until you use Yinlin's liberation. Enjoy your 7k ticks, brother man. Enjoy your 7 ticks of 7k damage. 50k, awesome, amazing. It's not that good. We'll just know that she has... Jeja does more than her with a similar build.
The battlefield is dynamic. Do not let your guard down.
And now, let's talk about the real highlight of the show, ladies and gentlemen. The real Giga Gamer. We got our Gian. And let me just be honest with you when I tell you this. Brother's build is crazy. His build is crazy because we put effort into building high-tier units. And Gian is without a doubt a high-tier unit. Let's look at it. Boom! The rolls are kind of bad over here, but it's got all the stats that he wants. We got the attack. We got the ER. We got the crit damage, and we got the crit rate. Kind of low rolls, but it's a 4 out of 5. Now, just hold your horses. Now we got an arrow damage bonus, Carapace. Attack, middle of the road crit rate, middle of the road crit damage. Pretty good. Looks pretty good overall, right? 4 out of 5. Now get ready for this. Get ready for your socks to be blown off. Max crit damage roll, minimum crit rate roll, but then heavy attack and ER. And then over here, low crit rate, low crit damage again, but then a whopping 12.4% ER and then 7.1% heavy attack. And now for the last piece. Are you ready for this last piece, ladies and gentlemen? Hey, we got the best for last. We got the best for last. This was going to make y'all real jealous. This is going to make y'all real jealous. And this is why you guys keep making fun of my Gian. Because you don't have this piece. Yeah, get jealous. Get jealous. This one's pretty good too. 21, 8.7. 8.6 heavy attack. So, yeah. You can see the quality of the builds on this account, they're all relatively high. And I would say the only areas where it's a little bit iffy are naturally, I would say these 3 sub-DPS characters. But that's because they're typically on sets that are like shared. They're on sets where, you know, I like run an attack 3 cost. I don't really care that much about what my sub-DPSs are doing because they're such a small portion of the team's overall DPS. And when it comes to like my main damage dealers though, well, they are looking pretty damn good. And I wanted to just do a short demonstration, a bit of a quick demo for just what some of these teams are capable of in some of the endgame modes. So what better way to do that than to just mosey ourselves on over to the Tower of Adversity and, you know, maybe do a little demo or two. Though you do see me do this pretty much every single week, every single time there's a new reset anyways. But, I mean, why not just get into some gameplay ourselves? Why not we just get into some gameplay ourselves? All right. So first things first, ladies and gentlemen. You already know what we're about to use, right? You already know what we're about to use. Shall we do it? What if I told you that a well-built Gion can get under a 2-minute clear? What if I told you a well-built Gion can get under a 2-minute clear, ladies and gentlemen? How would that make you feel?
I'm here to serve.
Using his 1.0 team or his 1.x team, how would that make you feel?
Experiments underway.
Would you be happy? Would you be sad? Keep that thought in your mind because that is what you are about to see today. Let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do this.
As you wish.
Astral modulation.
Fury boils. Burn to ashes. Let's do your wide open. Listen, fear no more. The way.
Boom!
Ordained. In war with time.
Fury boils. Inferno. Silence. Let's do your wide open. It's another unstop. Settle.
Why is bro 400 feet away from me? That might bleed into the clear, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies. That one might bleed into the clear. My apologies.
As you wish.
Flying graft we knew.
That Carapace got a little bit far from me.
Burn to ashes. Let's do ready for battle. Fear no more. Way. Penalty.
Does anyone have a reason for why my Gion is like 400 feet away from the enemy?
Ordained. Floating war with time.
You got a minute left?
Fury boils.
No, we're trying to get it under 30. That's the thing. We're trying to get it under
Wide open.
a certain time limit.
Unstop.
I said with oh no, why did it do that? Oh no!
From the soul. Astral modulation.
Oh no!
Loading.
Fury boils. Burn to ashes. Let's do ready for battle. Another way.
Bro did it again! So, this is some dog shit RNG. But, yeah, we've been able to get this clip. Alright, there's no way that dickhead actually backed away 3 fucking times in a row. That actually pissed me off. Wait, there's no way he did that 3 times in a row. It's never fucking done that before. It's never done that shit before. Anyways, that's just like an example of how you can clearly see that 1.x units, depending on their builds, right, are still having a pretty easy time in the content. And I think like just the main overview for me when it comes to this account is no matter what gameplay demonstrations I do, there are always going to be critiques. They're always going to be like, oh, his builds are crazy. Oh, his builds are insane. You've seen that the quality of my 2.x units, my 2.x characters, right? My Zanies, my Cantarell, or not my Cantarellas, my Frolovas, my Unos, my Augustas. Those builds are way better than the builds that you saw for all of my older units. And that's just a testament to how much easier echo farming has become, how much easier it is for characters to be built with, you know, all the different modifiers, all of that have been in the game. But in reality, I think that Kuro Games has done a good job of balancing the end game where, honestly, sometimes I feel like I want to go back and use the older units for a refresher, some older units for some of the gameplay because, well, I mean, they're still completely viable. And so you've seen all the builds, you've seen all the quality, you've seen, you know, everything that's going on over here. You've already checked out all my gameplay, but just wanted to throw in a nice little fun one for the boys over here. But naturally, you can see that some units are undeniably showing some of their age. But yeah, I'm still having fun with the game, still having fun with the accounts. The main fun that I have is character building, but I just wish there was, wow, that's a nice loading screen. That's actually a really nice loading screen. Wait, why is this like the first time I've seen this one? This is a new one for sure. This is a new one for sure. I just wish there were places to actually use them. Oh, I didn't even... I almost forgot this event was there. Because I just conditioned myself not to look at this menu during the patch. I just wish there were more places to use them. Because I've got like 20... relatively well-built units that are collecting dust at the moment. So yeah, that'll be that for this one, ladies and gentlemen. This review. Let me know what you all thought. Peace. All right, that was that was just a fun random one, but now you guys all get to see what my builds actually look like. Now you know what all my builds actually look like. I'm just relieved that you had a hard time building Rosia. I'm going to be honest over here. I spent more tuners on Rosia than I have on any other unit in the game. Yeah, I spent more on her than any other unit in the game, and she is easily the unit that I currently use the least on my account. She is currently the unit that I use the least on my account. Why do you have exclamation marks all around? Shouldn't you clear them up? I don't need to clear them up because I don't have a ADHD, and I also don't have OCD. And anyone that mentions in my chat about how annoying the exclamation points are, I suggest you go get diagnosed. That's actually my advice. Like you probably, if it's worrying, if it annoys and worries you enough that you need to type about it in my chat, you should probably go get diagnosed. Not even joking. Not even joking. You tweaking? No, you are. No, if you're typing in my chat about them, you're undeniably tweaking about it. How am I crazy? They're annoying? Go get diagnosed. I'm not even joking. What do you mean? Who cares? I don't give a shit. Brother, relax. I am relaxed. You're the one that was complaining about a non-issue. Clearly, if it's enough for you to complain about, there's a level of agitation involved with your initial statement. And so, if you were relaxed, you wouldn't be typing about the exclamation points. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The fact that these exclamation points are enough to get you to start typing about them means that you probably should get diagnosed. The casket delivery? Honestly, I haven't even, like, done Septimont caskets. I don't think a single time. I don't think I actually have done them a single time. How do I skip this? Yeah, I don't think I'm doing these caskets. Yeah, these are some dog shit rewards. Yeah, if I'm desperate for 3 pulls, I'll do them later. Yeah, if I'm desperate for 3 pulls, I'll do them later. They give a lot of astrite. No, they don't. That gives you like two pulls, 2 or 3 pulls.
Loading.
Like, I don't consider 2 or 3 pulls to be an exceptional crazy amount. That's just my take. Maybe you disagree with that. Maybe you think it's a lot, but I don't think it is. Two pulls is a lot. Just go get like just go get a part-time job, man. I'm not even joking. If you're just go get a part-time job at this point. Like, stop talking about 2 pulls like it's a lot. It really just makes you seem like incredibly like What even is this area? Is this supposed to be like a challenge? Or is this just a bunch of dragons just chilling here? I'm like, because I swore I saw something pop up.
Stay behind me.
Man, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Man, I really want to like this guy, but he seems like such a shitty person. Okay, let me validate your concerns by banning you. That probably answers your question, right? What an absolutely dumb fucking thing to type in my chat. What an absolutely stupid fucking thing to type in my chat. It's like, I don't think you guys understand. It's like, and maybe they do, but there's other ways to leave a stream that don't make you look like an attention-seeking bitch. You could just close it. Yeah, you could just close it. Which is what most normal people do instead of bitching and moaning about it like they're in some fucking, what's it called? Like they're in some position of authority to make statements about the matter. Like, good God, guys. They need to be heard for the first time in their life, yes. These people need to be heard for the first time in their life. And like I've said before, and like I've said numerous times, right? These are the same individuals that don't have anybody to talk to in real life or even online. And so they need to type inflammatory messages into a live stream or a chat room, begging that someone's going to interact with them, begging that they're going to have human interaction. And yes, I will entertain them for a short couple of seconds, but Jesus Christ, these guys are absolute fucking losers. They're just complete fucking losers. I don't even know how else to describe it. I'm not even talking about anything in particular, but it's just like, oh, please notice me. Please talk about me. Please. Please, I haven't talked to a human person since 2019. Please talk to me. Go get therapy, man. Don't show up in my chat. Just go get therapy. And if you can't afford therapy, go I don't know. Go to fucking church. Yeah, I don't fucking know. Go find the free to play. Go find free to play therapy, okay? Go to church. Like, but who, like, even if you're not religious, right? Just go somewhere where people feel obligated to talk to you, or else they're gonna feel bad. Okay. Honestly, now that I think about it, church actually is free to play therapy. And like and like with things that are free to play, you got to make sure it's a good free to play. Right? Like you can have like bad free to play therapy. You just got to make sure it's the high quality it's the high quality one. You even got some microtransactions as well. You even got the occasional microtransaction. Oh man. Oh man. You gonna pay for the Jesus DLC? I feel like I'm in a zombie apocalypse and I'm trying to like ration my next Lunchable across like the rest of the week. I was like, oh, maybe I should go play Depths. Maybe I should go play Fantasies 1,000 Gateways. And then I was like, wait, I want to have something to do tomorrow. Yeah, I want to have something to do tomorrow, man. God damn. Oh. Rough. Man, we got nothing. Yeah, we got nothing. It is what it is, man. I guess I hope they address it at some point. I really hope they don't pretend that 2.7 like didn't happen. I really hope that they don't just like pretend that 2.7 did not occur.
To the lands afar.
Like, oh, you know what I need to see right? Am I fucking stuck? Okay. You know what I need to see right now? I want to see what the views of the game are looking like right now. Because unless I am absolutely still tripping balls, like, we should be approaching. We should be at the point where we're, like, approaching ZZZ's numbers. Like, we should be, like, we should be here. Oh, sorry, I was hiding my camera. We should be, like, here right now. This is where Wuthering Waves should be at the moment. Considering the amount of content that's in the update, we should be there right now. Let's see here. Honestly, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. What are people watching? What are people watching right now? Is it really just a bunch of people playing the story one after another? Is that what it is? It's just people playing the story one after. Like, I'm just wondering, like, there's nothing to do in the patch, so how are there still so many viewers and people watching? I watched the story 3 or 4 times already. Ah, okay, okay, alright. Alrighty. So it's really is just like a chain reaction of people repeatedly reacting to the story because it's that good. Okay. Alright. Hey, you know what? All this tells me is that ZZZ's story is fucking dog shit. Yeah, I think that's the main realization is that ZZZ's story is fucking trash because after the patch launched like day 1, it was like yeah, after each story pass like one day it's done, bro. Holy fuck. Oh, Jesus Christ. Nobody talks about ZZZ's story. It's because it's literally the most surface level, shallow piece of garbage I've ever consumed in my fucking life. And it's actually 90% of the reason why I quit the game.
Stay behind me.
90% of the reason why I quit the game. CN Wuwa players spawn camp NA to watch their reaction? Oh, shit. Thanks, China. I don't even know what I'm doing in this game right now. How do I not have my dailies done yet? Oh, I need to spend more weight plates. Okay. Let me go do that. Ah, okay. This is, You can do the daily quests. How about I just spend the rest of my weight plates?
In control. Leave it to me.
In war with time.
With style and grace. On you. Answer my call. Fate in my mark. Causality over
Conquest begins now. For Septimon!
Did we get anything good? Not quite. All right. I think it's time for us to ensure that we don't actually burn out of this fucking game too early into the patch. I think it's time to give that one a bit of a close. I think it's time to give the game a bit of a close, ladies and gentlemen. I tried my hardest, but it is not easy. Doing what we're doing right now is unfortunately not very fucking easy. It's a little bit difficult. He quit woo-wah. No, I didn't. Okay? Relax, buddy boy. Variety reacts. Genshin Impact is allergic to good updates. I think we also got the VARS video as well. I think we also got the VARS video too. Let me go find it. Genshin Impact 5 years later. Has it gotten better or worse? Has it? Which of these two do you guys feel like watching? Which of these two? The VARS video? Neither, to be honest. This poll was made with two options in mind. Nobody asked. Hey, chat. If somebody types ZZZ 2.3 one more time, I will uninstall the game live on stream. Okay. All right, let's do it. I actually have it installed. Don't force my hand. Stop being little kids. If every single time I'm talking about doing something and you start spamming ZZZ, I will just uninstall the fucking game. And then we'll literally never play it. And then we will literally just never play it. And so, the best thing to do, if you actually do want to eventually see ZZZ, is to stop suggesting it. Every single time you clearly see that I want to do something else. But you said you were going to do it. Your mother also says she loves you, but she doesn't love you all the time. Believe me. That's mean. That's the fucking truth. What do you want from me? That's painful. I feel like I said that in like the most mild way possible. What are we even doing here? I said that in literally the most mild way possible. It was extremely nice. What do you even mean? All right. Why are you wasting your storage range, Vegas? I don't think you understand how downloads work. Yeah, you don't download things immediately, and if you uninstall something, that means you have to re-download it at some point. And if you're downloading something, you can't play it. I do understand. No, you clearly don't. You clearly don't, because you must assume that I'm keeping it. You're saying I'm keeping it on my computer simply to rage bait. No, I'm keeping it on my computer so that I don't have to fucking re-download it in case I do want to play it again. Cause that shit ZZZ is like 100 fucking gigs. It's 100 fucking gigs. That takes a long ass time to download. I don't think people recognize that. Saint is coming back for Giga Chad Zenyatta. We might actually come back a little bit for Ban Yue. Yeah. Yeah, Giga Chad Zenyatta is a pretty cool looking character. Yeah, he's a pretty cool looking unit. I will give them that one. He's probably the best unit they've released in, like, actually months. He might be the best unit they've released since Miyabi, if I'm frankly being real with you. Animation-wise, animation and gameplay-wise, might be the best one since Miyabi. He's the actual Void Hunter. He's not. He's probably gonna be balanced in an interesting way. They're probably gonna Hugo him somehow. Yeah. Another big part about why I quit ZZZ was that my Hugo is fucking useless. Bro is like legitimately not a character in like he works in like one endgame mode a like fucking year. I remember I took him into something that was Ice Week and he wasn't playable. I was just like, all right, yeah, clearly this game has too many restrictions. He's an Ice DPS. I took him into Ice Week content and he got fucked. It was just insane. It was legitimately insane how badly he did. It blew my mind. It blew my mind. What's the one with the high stun bar? Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. It's like that electro asshole, right? That like turns invincible and then you break him, you stun him, and the stun lasts for half a second. He's also Ice Week though, so I remember using Hugo and I was like, oh, so it's Ice Week, but not this type of Ice Week. It's the wrong Ice Week. It's like whatever that fucking means. All right. I am fucking dehydrated right now from that account review. So let's go ahead. Let's get this Vars video going after I go fucking hydrate. And then we'll be RB. I have a question. Does anyone here actually like grape Gatorade? Like that dark purple ugly ass flavor that they always try to like put into like the variety packs. It's ass, right? It's fucking terrible. And so they would always, in like these little like mini packs that they have, right? They would always put like 2 good flavors and then fucking grape. In all of them. It would be like the white one, the blue one, and then grape. Trash. That one is just trash. The frost one is good. Yeah, the blue and the white flavors are amazing, right? It doesn't exist where I live. Be fucking happy. Be fucking happy you don't have 0 sugar grape Gatorade. The piss yellow is terrible. No, this one's fine. This one's fine. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You also got to make sure you're only drinking, yeah, only drink Gatorade Zero. Yeah, if you drink the one with sugar in it, you're chances are if you're at a computer desk and you're drinking regular Gatorade, you're probably a little chunky. I'm just gonna be real with you. If you sip on regular Gatorade at the computer desk, you are probably a little chunky. So yeah, I hope you're only drinking G2 or 0. Assuming you don't just drink regular water. Do you drink Monster? I don't drink energy drinks. I don't really drink energy drinks. They're a little I feel like they've got too much weird shit in them. I'd rather just have coffee. I'd rather just have coffee. That, and they're expensive. I think the expensive part is the part that throws me off. But yeah, when it comes to like gamer subs and stuff though, hey, I'm good with that shit because it is way cheaper than fucking energy drinks. It is like so much cheaper than like getting energy drinks, and they're sort of the same thing but like less carbonated. So yeah. I think the carbonation part is also the part that I don't really like about energy drinks. I want to be able to drink an energy drink or drink like something caffeinated quickly. Cause I'm like, you know, maybe I need to just like get shit done. I live in Japan and we have amazing bottled teas with and without sugar. I don't like bottled tea without sugar. I'm just gonna be honest with you about that one. I'm sure it's great if you're a tea enjoyer, but I've had a lot of like bottled green teas, and I'm just like, I take like 3 sips of it, and I'm like, man, this tastes like shit. And I just stopped drinking it. Yeah, I've had a lot of unfinished bottles of like honest tea, like yerba mate. It all tastes like shit, bro. It tastes so fucking bad. I don't want it. I'm just gonna be real with you. I prefer like actual hot teas. Like actual like fucking like brewed like I drink like I like Earl Grey. I think Earl Grey is my favorite one. With like a little bit of like creamer or like a little bit of milk. That's probably my favorite one. Astringent teas are the worst. Astringent teas are the worst. The ones where I like sip them and they almost feel like they're sour. Fuck that shit. I fucking hate it. It's like, I think jasmine is an astringent tea. I hate that shit. Bro, it's like, I feel like I just ate a lemon, but it wasn't even like good. It's like, at least like a bitter taste. All right, that's enough stalling. We got a VARS video to watch. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Mr. VARS 2 is back at it again with another Genshin video. And let's just be entirely honest here. I think it's safe to say that VARS 2 has been one of the biggest critics of the game in recent months, talking a lot about things like power creep, talking a lot about how certain characters, certain metas have done a lot of damage to the game. And I'm just interested in seeing, from the guy who's been there for quite a while, Genshin Impact 5 years later, has it gotten better or worse? Let's go ahead, let's take a look. Let's see whether or not, what reality is taking place.
Happy anniversary to...
Okay, let me just make sure that the volume is right. That seemed like a little bit low. Let me know if this volume is good. I'm maxing that shit out.
Happy anniversary to Genshin Impact, and it's not just any anniversary this time around, but the 5th one, half a decade. Year 5 marks a tremendous occasion for a new live service title, and while it's not quite as impressive as a game holding out for 10 or more, longtime gacha players will know that getting to this point alone is a big deal, especially given the fact that Genshin is still regarded by many as the largest and most commercially successful gacha game to this day.
I think that I don't think it's even consideration. I don't even think that's the right term to use. I think it is the largest and the most successful gacha game that has ever graced the market. I think that's just a fact. I think what a lot of people don't realize is that these Sensor Tower revenue numbers that you're seeing up here, right? Occasionally, or really all the time, right? Genshin Impact is below other games. That's a fact. But these are just mobile numbers, mobile estimations. And there are games on here where their only clients they have are mobile ones. And so the revenue estimations that you see for games like Pokemon, TCG, or 11 Dead Space, there's not really other elements to it because the only place you can monetize those games is on mobile or on the mobile stores. But the thing is, for games like Genshin Impact or Wu War, ZZZ, or any of those, the opposite is actually what takes place, ladies and gentlemen. Mobile is only one slice of the pie. It's only one part because there's also the PC sales, the console sales, all of that, the PlayStation, those ones. And these other games over here, right, that might overtake Genshin every once in a while, they don't have those other outlets. They don't have those other platforms. And that is really what the key differentiators should be between this and those games that you're seeing over there and these numbers that you're seeing over here. Just wanted to get that out there, right off the bat. Not saying that Vars is wrong about anything going on or any of the analysis that he's doing, but some people take these words as or some people take these numbers as a fact, and they think that this is the whole picture, when it's not.
I think I speak for everyone when I say whether you love or hate the game, whether it's still giving you the same magic it always has, or if you no longer feel excited for it anymore, that Genshin truly changed the gacha industry for the better. Prior to 2020, gachas carried a reputation for being low-quality, bootleg mobile games designed to do the absolute bare minimum to take as much of your money as they can. The stigma is still kind of there, but from production value to gameplay experience and whatnot, given credit where it's due, they certainly elevated the bar on what a gacha game should be.
I think the biggest thing that Genshin did to change the perception of gacha was pretty simple. They made it feel like your money was kind of being well spent, because in the past, it's no lie at all to say that spending $300 to $400 on a literal PNG, because that's what they were literal PNGs, like 2D models, stuff like that, right? Or very, very low quality cell shaded stuff. That's a bit of a tall ask. And that was what it was known for. Think about Fate Grand Order. Costs you thousands of dollars for a character, right? Literally a fucking PNG with an animation or two, an AMV added on top. But here, you're getting 3D models, you're getting rendering, you're getting lighting, you're getting, the designs that you feel more, I guess, slightly real because they're actually, you got the whole world that encompasses them as well. And I feel like that sort of shift, that sort of breakaway from the very instanced lobby-based sort of stuff that was done before was a big part about its success.
The fact that most if not all major gacha games that came out or are about to come out have used Genshin Impact as the template of sorts to follow should attest to that. Arknights Enfield, Azure Promelia, Duet Night Abyss, Ananta, Neverness Deverness. People labeled them as Genshin Impact but with blank because Genshin was the one to push gacha from a niche audience into the mainstream consciousness.
What I view Genshin doing for the gacha space in its design is really similar to Henry Ford making the first car. Think about it this way. Henry Ford makes a car, right? It's got 4 wheels and an engine and then a chassis and all of that. Are you going to go ahead and then just say, oh, Audi, Volkswagen, Honda, Toyota, you guys are just Ford with Asia, or you're just Ford but German, right? No, that's not really what people say nowadays. They might have said it back then, right? But the reality of the situation is that somebody created, right, the first good prototype, the good baseline, and then everyone keeps building on top of it. The car, when it was first made, looks a lot different than the car nowadays. And naturally, right, there are a lot of gacha games that they look a lot better than Genshin currently does right now, because there's only so much you can build upon when your foundation is a little dated. And that's what Genshin, at least in my opinion, is at this point.
A lot is attributed to Genshin's influence, for better or worse, and as someone who has made content on this game going on 4 years now, I wanted to make a video discussing how much the game has changed in the span of 5 years, what has improved, what stayed the same, and what got worse, to give you my honest thoughts on if the game is worth playing if you're a potential newcomer, or worth continuing to play if you already are.
That's a bit of a spicy topic. Oh boy, I'm ready for this one.
Unlike most other gachas, where there's really only one central way to play and experience the game, A big part of what contributed to Genshin's enormous mainstream success was that it tried to cater towards all types of players, from the super sweaty tryhards who like to min-max everything, to the casual, laid-back Animal Crossing lifestyle people who like to kill time leisurely futzing about and such. In light of that, oftentimes the sentiment that manifests in one faction of the game
This clears Vampire Survivors.
almost never is shared by the other, and vice versa. For context, my channel touches more on gameplay and characters, so naturally my audience would consist more of the people who like to gear up their units to be as powerful as they can and to take on the endgame as efficiently as possible, and less of the ones who spend their entire time customizing their Serenity pot. Be that as it may, I want to try to accommodate all possible facets of the game to give you as unbiased and comprehensive of an assessment as I can give. To say that
I think that's a fair take to have, you know, making sure that the critique, making sure that the analysis addresses a whole wide audience. But I do think that there's naturally a balance, right? There's naturally a bit of a struggle when you try to break down and you try to like quantify things from a perspective of, oh, there's the stuff over here for the people that like the gameplay, and here's the stuff over here for people that want the more casual stuff. And there's no lie at all to say that when you add to one, you inherently sort of end up taking away from the other. And so I think that's definitely a dynamic that we've seen played out in Genshin Impact. We've seen it played out in HSR. We've seen it played out in Zenless Zone Zero, and of course in Wuthering Waves, where certain parts of the gameplay loop feel like they're being emphasized way more or way less as time has gone on. And, you know, that's led to a lot of people having, like, secondhand questions or just, like, thinking, oh, is this really the game that I thought it was going to be? Or has, like, the target audience shifted over time?
that Genshin has had a checkered past when it comes to improving the gameplay experience would be a very, very big understatement. Much of what people recall from internet discourse surrounding the game is usually some kind of public backlash or controversy that took place. For instance, a huge amount of goodwill was lost in early 2024 when Hoyo deemed it appropriate to provide every player 3 intertwined fates as an expression of gratitude for 3 years of Lantern Rite, aka 3 Chinese New Years. It seemed awfully miserly of a reward for such an occasion, and while technically it has nothing to do with the actual gameplay experience directly, accounting for the main way to obtain characters being to pull for them using a limited resource that can only be supplemented by way of microtransactions, stingy rewards do matter in the scope of a player's time spent playing the game. Gacha
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this video was actually maybe gonna have a decent positive spin for Genshin Impact, but the fact that Vars decided to open up this one with the whole fucking 3 years, 3 polls, it leads me to believe this may be a negative video. Perhaps I'm speaking too soon, but I'm beginning to think that's where the direction of this is about to go.
just tend to be evaluated by how generous they are to free-to-play players. I figured this is a good point to start. Plainly speaking, I don't think magnanimity was ever a hallmark priority for Genshin Impact. In their defense, and not like other gachas that effectively force you to pull for every single character every week if you want to keep up with the meta,
He's talking about back then, right? Surely he's talking about back then and not the present state of Genshin Impact. Right?
but assuming average luck and doing every possible thing that can give you primo gems, you're only gonna receive about give or take 60 to 70 pulls per patch, one patch being 6 weeks or approximately a month and a half. To reach the game's 5-star soft guarantee, you need about 80 to 90 pulls. So even if you do everything possible to collect primo gems, it takes more than a full version for you to have enough to pull a guaranteed 5-star.
It's about 3 versions. 3 versions. Or with 42 days per version, 42 days, it's 120 days of version, or 120 days you can pull a new character. Guaranteed. And so essentially, you get to pull a limited 5-star unit 3 times a year. Assuming you lose every single 50-50 and assuming you go to pity.
If you alternate between winning and losing a 50-50, you'll on average be able to pull for give or take 3 or 4 featured 5 stars over the course of a year.
Rewatch.
Now, according to the Genshin bookkeeping sheet, which documents all the free pulls you get from the very beginning of the game to now, you'll notice the trend hasn't really moved all that much. The game gives more or less the same amount of free pulls today that it used to in the past. Does the game require more characters to be owned than before? Because if it's the same as back in version 1 and 2, then Genshin not increasing their generosity isn't that big of a deal. I would say yes, we now have 3 endgame modes, each with their own set of constraints and restrictions. The need for a diverse and varied roster of characters to make teams around is measurably higher in the current day.
Unbelievably higher. You guys see these amazing animations over here? You see this whole lunar charge? Wait, let me go see if I can find Lunar Bloom.
Fact that a non
Anyway, let me go see if I can find Lunar Bloom, right? We saw the lunar charged over here. Where's Llama at? Hey, where's she at, though?
We now have 3 endgame modes, each with their own...
I guess it's built into it somewhere. They literally have bosses in the game right now, right? Where it's like, if you don't have this lunar charge mechanic, if you don't have this Lunar Bloom mechanic, you cannot beat me. Straight up, in their endgame, they literally have bosses right now that are like, if you don't have the newest character's mechanic, you cannot challenge me. You are not able to fight me. That to me is just insane. Knowing that these endgame modes are refreshing on like a 30 day basis. They're refreshing on a 30 to 40 day basis. But then you can only pull reasonably 3 characters a year. But it's also like you need every new character to do the endgame. They've never had restrictions to this high of a degree, to this predatory degree, ever in the game. Basically, from version 1.0, all the way to version 5.2, it was good. It was fine. Not really restrictive. And then 5.3 hit, and they were just like, all right, let's just make a bunch of unplayable content unless you're going to spend hundreds of dollars on the game every month. And they haven't looked back ever since.
Set of constraints and restrictions. The need for a diverse and varied roster of characters to make teams around is measurably higher in the current day. More pressing is the fact that a non-negligible amount of free pulls are obtained by completing those endgame modes every time they refresh, so to get more characters you need more pulls. But to get more pulls you need more characters. Outside of the endgame though, the rest of the game's content ranging from story to events to navigating your day-to-day activities and
people don't realize that endgame is one of the most significant sources of pulls that you have every single patch. The endgame literally is like a close to like, I think 15 to 20%, if not more, maybe 15 to 30% of the actual pulls that you get in a patch. So not being able to clear the endgame, having a character restriction in the endgame, it's something that literally snowballs over time and snowballs super, super, super significantly and just results in you even having less opportunities to pull the characters that you need to clear the endgame so that you can pull the characters that you need. It's vicious once you think about it, and it's never been an issue until the past year of this game.
whatnot require practically 0 characters, so if you're someone who's more into the narrative and storytelling side of Genshin and you already have your favorite units, free pulls are of little consequence. It comes down to what part of the game you enjoy the most. That being said, even the quote-unquote for fun players are negatively affected by not having access to the majority of characters in the game. Your starter Pokemon could be your favorite, but imagine playing through a Pokemon game having access to only 20 out of say 100 Pokemon for the first year of the game. Not a very enticing proposition, is it? And with Genshin having more characters than ever before, it could be disheartening to find out you won't be able to get them. So from a gacha point of view, the game is not improved whatsoever. If anything, circumstantially speaking, it may have gotten worse.
I think it's 1,000,000% worse. I think circumstantially speaking is actually putting it really lightly. Think about this. Think about Genshin 2.0. You have 3 limited characters that you get to pull from Genshin 1.0 to Genshin 2.0. You will probably be able to take those 3 limited characters and clear the endgame with them for the next 2 years. Right now, in Genshin Impact, they're adding in a character-specific boss every single update that needs this mechanic. I'm pretty sure that Enefa will, not be usable in the endgame. Enefa, Flynn's, Lauma. There's going to be a rotating set of lunar reactions, right? That will come in. And within, I think, 4 months, Enefa and Flynn's will, not be usable in the endgame. And they'll have a new reaction, a new mechanic that will come in and then take their spot. And so these units have gotten an even shorter shelf life. Because think about it this way. can you use any of your Natlan units in the current Stygian Onslaught? Is anyone using Natlan units in the Stygian Onslaught? Anyone using a Kanish? Anyone using a Mualani? Anyone using a Chaska? Right? Maybe the only one that's being used is Mavuika Sitlali, right? And Jalonin. Those might be the main ones because they just do like double the damage of all the other teams in the game. But that's kind of like the circumstance. You're noticing that a lot of units are just being have lost their shelf life completely because of the immense amount of power creep that's going on. So the gacha system just has to be worse because all your pulls are worth way less than what they used to be.
On the subject of characters, characters are, in my opinion, the strongest part of Genshin Impact and part of how the game was able to enter the larger video game sphere. Gachas in the past were primarily known for quantity over quality. They would pump out copious amounts of units, many of whom were basically cannon fodder or inventory clutter, typically amounting to nothing more than a sprite with some flavor text and an array of abilities. Exceptions apply, of course. Some gachas gave voice acting to their units, and some went as far as to make live 2D visuals or give background quests to their units. But it was Genshin that really took things to the next level. Each and every individual character was a fully fleshed out cast member with entire dialogues, personalities, visuals, designs, and roles in the story. From the most integral centerpieces in the main questline like the Archons to supposed filler characters that run a clothing boutique or dance in an opera theater, Hoyo spares no expense giving each unit a distinct thematic purpose in Genshin, and that
This has a drawback that I think a lot of people don't recognize. If you don't fucking like the unit, you feel like you're wasting your time getting like exposed to like all this story and side quests and events with them. I think that's one of the worst things that puts people off is you don't care about the character, but you get content about the character shoved down your fucking throat, or you get a minigame focused around the character shoved down your fucking throat if you want the primo gems, you want the materials, you want the resources to play the rest of the game. And so, this is kind of like the end circumstance, right? You feel like you're forced into doing a bunch of shit, a bunch of content, learning about characters, you're learning about shit you didn't want to learn. And that, I think, is one of the biggest barriers to Genshin Impact is that there's a lot of fucking stuff in there, a lot of units, a lot of characters, a lot of story elements that you just don't care about, that feel irrelevant, that feel like garnish on top of like an already completed dish. And the end result is that it feels like it makes the experience worse as opposed to better or more fleshed out.
That is why this game is so memorable. When characters are more than just words or images on the screen, it gives people something to grow attached to. Genshin has so much fan art and fan-made content of its characters because the characters are rich in detail. Up until Natlan, the community was in almost unanimous agreement that its characters were well made and well put together.
Then the Fire Nation attacked.
Even in the case of Natlan, while many people took issue with the rather unusual and incoherent visual designs of version 5's characters, in defense of Natlan, they're still visually striking and they have meaningful roles in their respective lines of work. Mavuika is every bit as nuanced and fleshed out of a character as the Archons who came before her. It's just their biker suit and motorcycle that leave a weird taste in people's mouths.
I think this is just Vars doing damage control. Yeah, Natlan's a piece of steaming dog shit. I think this is just him getting ahead of like the brigade that will ensue and consume this video if he were to not defend Natlan like fucking crazy. Because there are just a lot of like die-hard individuals, right, who will find any reason possible to tell you, oh, I assure you, dear player, Jalonin wearing jean shorts and being a DJ and playing on a literal like fucking DJ board in a tribal setting makes lore sense. I assure you, dear viewer, Mavuika's motorcycle that didn't exist until version 5.3 in the story. It was definitely not added in as a last-minute feature in her design. It's like, it's shit like that where it's just like, yes, none of this makes sense. People are trying to force it to make sense. And if you don't agree with the nonsensical theories that they put out, they start attacking you. But that's the kind of commitment that the Genshin community has when it comes to like these characterizations, when it comes to the story and this type of stuff. It's wild.
I would argue character association and affiliation has always been Hoyo's strong suit. People not only love the heroes, but they also enjoy the side characters, and especially the villains. The Fatui Harbingers bring about the same obsession among Genshin fans that the Akatsuki does to Naruto fans, and I'd say that's only gotten better over the years. Narratively speaking, we're about to reach a critical juncture in the story, one with how many important characters have been teased in version 6, along with very important characters like the Four Shades. Some of these units have been built up ever since the beginning of the game, and I'm optimistic towards the future of its characters from a storytelling point of view. Maybe soon Dainsleif will be playable. What?
I think Nod Cry is basically like Hoyo recognizing, man, we actually probably got to do something about this story, don't we? I think that's the realization from Hoyo. Because basically, if you think about the overarching plot of the game, think about the past 5 years. What did you learn about the main story in Mondstadt? Nothing. What did you learn in Inazuma or in Liyue? Nothing. What did you learn in Inazuma? Nothing. What did you learn in Sumeru? More than nothing. And what did you learn in Natlan? Oh, you probably lost knowledge in Natlan, if we're frankly being real. And it's like, there's been almost no plot progression regarding like your goddamn sibling, which was like the main point of the game. And it feels like the last 5 years have literally just been a filler arc for the game. But the entire game's just been a filler arc. This would be like watching, I'm just going to use an anime, right? This would be like watching fucking Naruto. And instead of the story starting off in the Hidden Leaf Village, you start, like, Naruto's at, like, a food competition. And he's, like, eating ramen. And, like, there's an entire, like, 100-episode arc of him training to be a competitive food eater. And then on episode 101, he goes to the Hidden Leaf Village. And then the story starts from there. That's what Genshin Impact has, like, felt like. The entire first 5 years of the game have been a fucking side quest. And now there's been some minor plot progression about the whole, like, actual plot. It's just, wow, there's been a lot of garbage before that. Plot-wise.
About gameplay, though. That part.
Alright, now he's in gameplay.
Point of view. Maybe soon Dainsleif will be playable. What about gameplay, though? That part's a bit more divisive. It's no secret that in recent years, Genshin's power scaling has begun to ramp up when
right here. You can see, right? Imagine you don't look at this chart prior to version 5.3. Right? It's gradual, but it's not bad. Now look at it from 4.4. No, actually, look at it from here, 4.7. Gradual, but just looks decent, right? Then just look at how it shifts as Natlan is released. And get ready, this is going to be the big one. Look at how it shifts after Mabuika and Sitlali are released in version 5.3. Boom! 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 It just keeps going higher and higher. Because they fucked up the game by adding in 2 characters who deal 60% more damage than every other team in the game.
What made the game so successful in the mainstream was that for how stingy they were in providing free mods, the game practically had no power creep. Raiden Shogun was certainly stronger than most version 1 DPS units, and Nahida was stronger than most version 2 sub-DPS units, but generally speaking, you were able to perfectly clear Spiral Abyss using a 2-year-old team because not only was the game's difficulty not increasing year after year, which depending on who you ask might be a good or bad thing, but characters were also not beating over each other by that much either. Things are a bit different now. Mind you, Genshin's power creep is nowhere near as conspicuous or egregious as Honkai Star Rail's, and
This is like a competition to see, like, who has more diseases. You only have syphilis? Well, loser, I've got HPV, HIV, and AIDS on top of it. That's what this feels. That's what this section feels like right now. Yeah, it's got power creep, but not as much as HSR.
By far, Universe is better than Power Creep in other gacha games. However, versions 4 through 6 present a considerable leap in power, not just when compared to version 1 through 3, but amongst each other as well. You're under more pressure to have as many good characters as possible in a game that charges a month's rent in order to get all of them. I would say it's still more or less manageable though, but that only applies to if you're a long-time player. I can't imagine how difficult the game would be starting out fresh in 2025. It would take you more than a full year to achieve a perfect Stygian onslaught clear, and
My take is, I think Vars is actually incorrect about his whole starting in 2025 situation. So this is the reality of starting new free-to-play accounts in games with massive amounts of power creep. It's actually good. And the example that I'll use is Mr. Pokey trying to prove a point with his stupid-ass Bob challenge that makes no fucking sense at all. Because the strategy is simple. Every character that gets released is way fucking stronger than the last character that got released. And so, if you make a new account, the only thing you have access to are the new, broken, overpowered units. And so, the only thing you'll have available to pull after clearing all of the existing content, which there's a lot of in Genshin, all the map exploration, all of that, you only have broken units to pull on. And so, you just simply pull on all the broken fucking units, then make broken teams, and then go mindlessly clear all the endgame content with your broken teams. All it does is prove that, yes, free-to-play players can actually have a decent time because they don't have an opportunity to pull anything that's bad. But in a balanced game, being free-to-play is a little bit bad, right? Because, oh, all those pass pulls that other people had, right? Oh, like, just imagine, right, if Ayaka wasn't a piece of dog shit nowadays, or Ayato wasn't a piece of dog shit nowadays. Somebody having an Ayaka and an Ayato, if Genshin was still balanced, would be an asset to their account. But in the present day, these two characters are fucking useless. And so you're actually, as a new player starting the game, there are some 2, 3, 4-year-old Genshin accounts that have less overall value than a new one, because the new one will have more primo gems, more permanent content, and can just pull, instead of pulling this piece of shit, this dumbass stupid samurai, you could just pull her, the cool new sexy abyss lady who does double her damage, and fulfill the same role. So you just don't pull this, you don't waste your primo gems on this garbage, and you just pull this one instead. Make sure you pull her partner too, right? Who cares if you don't have this? Who cares if this isn't there? Who cares if you don't have Ayato, right? Because you're just going to pull the next broken Hydro character instead. All these past characters are worth nothing.
depending on the elements accessible, I'm fairly certain you can't even access the higher difficulties of Imaginarium Theater, let alone make an attempt at them. Yes, I'm aware endgame is not meant to be accessed immediately, that defeats the purpose of endgame, but that amount of time is simply too much to ask for a lot of players. Once more, people who care less about being a full sweat and choosing instead to treat Genshin like Animal Crossing are practically unaffected by it. Be that as it may, as an RPG with RPG stuff and RPG things you want to do, unless you're either extremely lucky and or you join at the perfect time to get the perfect units, I can't fathom how a new player is able to properly experience the full scope of the game in a reasonable time frame without dropping like half a grand on it. Spiral Abyss? Maybe. You could pull a broken 5-star unit and cobble together a working team, but Imaginarium and Stygian are almost out of the question. For some of you, it might appear like I'm zeroing in towards the gamer side of things and not the rest of Genshin, but understand that as an RPG, essentially everything you do, including things that aren't necessarily related to combat and progression, are indirectly motivated by combat and progression.
Oh man, I think the issue that he described is actually, it is worse than I thought. Because I think they added the Imaginarium Theater just to be a cancerous roster check, so that if you are a new player, you just can't get the rewards. You know what? Now that I think about it, that's actually its true purpose. It's just simply just punish people that are new players that just simply don't have the 30+ characters required to even start the mode. Now that I think about it. Yeah, that was just the purpose all along, because you need 28 characters to do it. There's only a certain number of 4 stars. There's only 3 4 stars every banner. It's just like, hey, Time to start throwing some pulls at the standard banner, bucko, and hope you get lucky getting the units that you need. And then for Stygian, to be honest, I think every person would need several months to complete Stygian Onslaught if they're not pulling the newest units. And don't worry, I think if you just play the game for 3 months, for 3 versions, you should be able to clear Stygian Onslaught. And the reason for that is simple. Because, like I said before, you just pull the broken new unit and you'll easily clear the endgame. Stygian Onslaught is based around, again, bosses that are countered by the newest and broken unit. So, if you just pull everything that's coming out over the next 3 versions, you should have no struggles at all in this game mode.
Towards the gamer side of things and not the rest of Genshin, but understand that as an RPG, essentially everything you do, including things that aren't necessarily related to combat and progression, are indirectly motivated by combat and progression. The key reason players do events or do quests and stuff is to get resources to make their characters stronger so they can take on stronger enemies.
You'd be surprised at how many individuals do events that they really don't want to fucking do, that feel like a pain in the ass, because if they don't do the events, they can't play the rest of the game. It's a significant number. And a lot of people seem to think that, oh, all these people are playing these events must actually be good because everyone's doing them. Half the people are doing them because they need to do them. Otherwise, they won't be able to play the rest of the game.
Only a small fraction of players are willing to do exploration or tedious work if there wasn't a reward behind it. Having said that, however, one part of Genshin that unequivocally has improved over the years would be the world itself, in that you can actually check out the world. New players are blessed. You have Mondstadt, Liyue, Inazuma, Sumeru, Fontaine, Namland, Dragonspine, and Konomiya, the Chasm, Sea of Bygone Eras, Ancient Sacred Mountain, Nordcrack. Day 1 players had to experience everything bit by bit, but for those starting out right now, you quite literally, unexaggeratedly, have one of the best free-to-play open-world exploration games of all damn time. There is so much exploration, so much to check out and see, so much to collect, and so many things to kill, that it likely borders on 300 hours of gameplay,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
possibly more. The sheer breadth of exploration content in Genshin, ranging from scenery to puzzles to questing, has to be overwhelming. If you're someone who enjoyed Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, you're gonna have an amazing time with this game. That is one part of Genshin that I think deserves acclaim. This game
800 fucking hours, bro. I'm just trying to think about that. Like, there ain't no way I'm spending 700 hours on fucking exploration where nah, bro. I think that's the thing. I think a lot of people, it's just, this is cool. The Genshin exploration is cool for like 5 hours of gameplay. And I think after that, you start thinking, oh my gosh, I'm fucking done with this. Do you realize that there have been houses bought, children raised, families dependent on Genshin account pilots that go ahead and explore these long-ass, boring-ass regions for people that don't give a fuck and just want the primo gems? There have been families started by the revenue that these account pilots generate because they don't want to play this game, but they still want the rewards from the exploration. I'm being entirely honest with you. I know some people that have made their life around Genshin piloting because it's so unfun for a huge part of the population. Sometimes more is actually less. And I think a lot of people that don't play Genshin anymore will tell you that the exploration, there's too much. And it takes too long. And it's a big reason for why they quit. And if you need an additional reminder, you remember exploring Sumeru? Yeah, I don't either. I try to wipe it from my memory as well.
100 hours of gameplay, possibly more. The sheer breadth of exploration content in Genshin, ranging from scenery to puzzles to questing, has to be overwhelming. If you're someone who enjoyed Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, you're gonna have an amazing time with this game. That is one part of Genshin that I think deserves acclaim. This game is gorgeous and varied. It kinda sucks that this game doesn't have legacy events the same way they have in HSR and Wuthering Waves, because I think Genkanomiya would be way more enjoyable if the Three Realms Gateway offering event was still in effect, but that aside, you'll still have more than enough to do. Providing you don't care too much about character progression and just want to check stuff out, I could not recommend Genshin Impact more. Not a single other—
I think that's fair, though. If you're somebody that just really likes walking around and just looking at shit, but you don't really care about gameplay and stuff, yeah, I mean, I think Genshin's one of the best walking simulators out there, because that's what you're going to be doing 90% of the time, because your stamina bar is so fucking small. It's good for that. So I mean, it's just like for the giga casuals, right? Fantastic experience. It's just that's not really a game at that point, at least in my opinion.
Other gacha game reaches the same heights of exploration
It's like a slightly interactive movie, except the movie's really boring too.
that Genshin does. So I suppose even if it will take you a year to fully reach endgame, on the bright side, you'll have plenty of things to do during that time. Day 1 players had to run into the content wall every single patch. Meanwhile, new players get to enjoy 5 years of content all at once. Quality of life is also one thing that has improved a fair bit. Slow it may have been, especially in contrast to competing titles, I'll acknowledge that Genshin is definitely moving in the right direction at least. I'm not gonna list off everything they've done over the years, but the game is in a much better spot now than it was before in terms of user experience.
Let's hear it. Hey, as far as I'm concerned, I still gotta wait 17 fucking days. I still gotta wait 17 fucking days to get my weapon ascension, Mats.
Many more conveniences that make the game less tedious or bothersome to complete. There are still quite a few things that Genshin really needs to address, but for example, stuff like allowing us to see the force stat of a 3-line artifact without
Hey, here's a crazier idea. How about you just make every artifact a 4-stat liner? You want to know what? Yeah, that would have made that would have been a better quality of life, wouldn't it? Yeah, just make every artifact a fucking 4-stat liner.
Not having to actually put XP into it was a monumental improvement to the artifact grinding experience. A couple more improvements like that and the game will be in great shape. As for what to expect in regards to Genshin Impact going forward, I really don't know.
Was that the quality of life section? That was like 10 seconds long.
I think the main problem with this game is that a lot of players, myself included,
That was it. Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, I feel like did I like skip ahead? Was there like an editing or a compiling issue? Was there like an entire paragraph that he forgot to record? Like, I swore he was about to like go through the list of quality of life and then listen out one feature. Is that not what happened?
before in terms of user experience, with many more conveniences that make the game less tedious or bothersome to complete. There are still quite a few things that Genshin really needs to address, but for example, stuff like allowing us to see the force stat of a 3-line artifact without having to actually put XP into it was a monumental improvement to the artifact grinding experience. A couple more improvements like that and the game will be in great shape. As for what to
Okay, that was it. Okay, that was it.
expect in regards to Genshin Impact going forward, I really don't know. I think the main problem with this game is that a lot of players, myself included, expected a lot more from it than it was able to deliver on. In my video on why Genshin Impact is losing popularity, I talked about how the game will never die per se, but it's disheartening to see what it could have been. I still retain the same sentiment. Genshin had the potential to be so much more than what it is. Whether a more elaborate combat system or a more nuanced and comprehensive endgame experience, or perhaps a better intertwining of the casual side of things, exploration, questing, and Serenity Pot, with
Get that shit off my screen. What is this, fucking Sims?
the sweaty side of things, endgame content and
Now that's the shit I'm talking about right there, buddy.
character optimization, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed. All the same, it would be foolish and needlessly cynical to disregard what Genshin did manage to do. Yes, the bad stuff about it, the terrible progression system, the subpar endgame, the expensive units, the lack of generosity and free stuff and whatnot, do lay a damper on the game's experience, and you're perfectly justified to criticize and even dislike the game because of it. Heaven knows I have. But that aside, Genshin Impact is a pretty solid game all things considered. My suggestion to anyone watching, whether you're a day one player losing interest in the game or someone looking to get into it for the first time, is to adapt your expectations.
I think the best way to think about Genshin Impact is literally only use the Traveler. Don't engage with the gacha at all. And kind of just play the game like it's a you're Aether, you're Lumine, you don't have any other units, and just play the game on like baby mode story. Only play the story. Don't bother with any of the other shit, because all the systems around like the progression, the end game, all of that, the building, the artifacts, it's just all a bunch of dog shit. Right? It's just literally all a bunch of dog shit, and then there's no balance. It's just every new release is more broken than the next. It's just, they had something decent going, right? For the first couple of years. Then there wasn't any progression going on. It's just, you know, it was a good roster with all the fucking issues regarding endgame and all of that. Now they've rotated into just taking the HSR model. And I have the same take with HSR that I also currently have with Genshin. They're story-based games. And unless you want to donate hundreds of dollars every version to the company, it should stay a story-based game. Because they are making it so that anything that you decide to pull on now has an expiration date of like 5 to 6 fucking months. I think even like the Herta, I think she got power crept already. I don't even think she's, like, good anymore. And she got released at the start of the fucking year. She got released at the start of the year. I heard she, like, doesn't even clear content anymore. Not even a full year of service for these units that you're potentially spending $450 on. I think that's crazy. I think that's wild. Maybe that's just me. But not even a year of service until they're already releasing better versions of these units that make and devalue your previous pulls. Why even like engage in a progression system like that? These devs don't care. Or at least the balance team doesn't care.
I don't blame people for doing this, as I'm guilty of it myself, but people have a tendency to look at things in a certain way and then refuse to change or adjust their perspective on it for one reason or another. However, there is merit in shifting one's attitude in a more positive light. When I was talking to some friends about Genshin, one of them mentioned how amazing it must feel to start the game now compared to day one. Initially, I was like, what the hell is he talking about? The game would be horrible to play now. You missed all those years of limited characters, events, and time-gated resources that
This point doesn't matter when all of the characters that you missed are not usable in any of the content. So it's like, that's what I mean. It's actually a good experience to start nowadays.
you'll never be able to make up for. Then again, you also never had to deal with all the crappy stuff too, and when accounting for stuff like the near limitless amount of exploration, that's definitely something to give credit to. Genshin Impact has
He should have mentioned, and it doesn't matter if they missed all those old characters because they were steaming piles of dog shit. Who do you think right now is complaining that they didn't get a chance to pull Klee? Who do you think right now is, other than, you know, the usual suspects, like, who do you think is complaining right now that they didn't have a chance to pull Venti? Who do you think is complaining that they didn't have a chance to pull fucking Kamisato Ayato? Nobody, because they're all dog shit.
dried out for a lot of people, but if I were to be objective, I think it's a great game to play casually. I speak to both long-time and new players that this game is meant to be played casually and for fun. I'm forever going to be talking about meta and gameplay and stuff because that's just the kind of player I am, but trust me when I say the less seriously you take Genshin, the more fun you'll have. People who play their favorite characters regardless of how good they are, enjoy the events of their friends, mess around in the teapot, and ugly cry during the Fontaine Archon quest are the real winners of this game. So is Genshin Impact better or worse 5 years later? I would say it's different, neither better nor worse.
Treat this game like a fucking AOL chat room. Treat this game like a Discord channel. And you'll probably have more fun with it.
The game has changed a lot since 2020, but in some ways has stayed the same too. Then again, us players have changed a lot, I'm sure. Who knows, but either way, if you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it if you like to like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Varsarim, join my Discord server, and check out my other Genshin Impact discussion videos.
Alright, I would say this was a very interesting video by Vars. And the way that I'll word it is, I think he was being extremely delicate with his wording, and I think he was being pretty delicate with his phrasing. Definitely made sure to like bring in that casual perspective, because I really think that's the best thing he could have said about the game. And I think those last couple of statements, those last sentences at the end of the video really bring it home, right? The less you think, the less you play Genshin, the more fun it is. The less you care about like the mechanics of the game, the more fun it is. But it's like, that's like saying basketball's a really fun sport if there aren't any rules. Okay, great. Is it really basketball anymore? And then when our main sort of takeaway is Genshin's a really fun game when you don't think of it as a game, is it really a game anymore? Is Genshin Impact good? Yes, I think Genshin Impact is good. Is Genshin Impact a good game? I don't think so. But is it a good walking simulator? Is it a good, like, time waster if you literally have nothing else to do? Is it a good way to socialize with 40-year-old men pretending to be girls? It's one of the best ways to do that. So they got things like the UGC, right? I think they're really playing on the strengths of the model. Really preying on, like, the target audience that they have over there. So, yeah, I kind of just view it as there's a lot of lost potential over here. And there's a lot of target audience shifting that has been done for this game. They're clearly trying to address two parts. The Giga hardcore who want to pull every unit to stay on top of the meta, as well as the like very like whimsical, casual, not really taking the game seriously, just, having fun with like the story and stuff like that. And that's pretty much all there is to it nowadays. And, well, that middle ground, it's an unaddressed part of the population. But I think it's small enough that Hoyoverse just doesn't care anymore. And it is what it is. We'll just have to see if another shift ends up occurring in the future as more competition ends up coming out. Because let's be honest here. I think for the hardcore audience, they might end up moving to something else that has more actual gameplay. So, yeah, that'll be that for this one. Awesome video by Vars, but, with some caveats. Let me know what you all thought. Peace. Okay, alrighty. There's that one. But, yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I think we will be calling it for now today. Yeah, we may or may not end up taking a break tomorrow. Or we may end up doing a sponsored stream. But I will check in with y'all later. Let me throw a raid. Yeah, let me throw a raid. Because he rated us this morning. Though, in actuality, bro gave me like 50 viewers, and now I'm giving him almost like, what is it? Fucking 10x that. Sure. Good trade. That's an amazing trade deal. All right, I'll see y'all later. Peace.